Drake's had a long year of beefs, and even referring to it at one point as a 20v1, but it took 50 Cent to really popularize just how many famous people hated Drake. 50 Cent is widely recognized as one of the biggest online trolls in hip-hop, having no problem whatsoever inserting himself in the beef of other rappers in order to give his opinion and become a part of the conversation. This is nothing new for 50 because he was trolling even before social media was a thing. In fact, before 50 Cent had Eminem and Dr. Dre backing him, he released a song in 1999 called How to Rob, where he boldly imagined robbing rappers like Jay-Z, Mace, Big Pun, DMX, Busta Rhymes, members of Wu-Tang Clan, couples like Bobby Brown and Whitney Houston, Foxy Brown and Corrupt, Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith, and Mike Tyson and Robin Givens, R&B singers like Brian McKnight, Keith Sweat, and even the actual producers of the song Trackmasters. Fast forward 25 years later, and in the same way that 50 Cent's song How to Rob became a real-life op list that caused many of the names called out in the song to retaliate, 50 Cent showed that he understood what Drake was going through when the Toronto megastar faced backlash from Kendrick Lamar, Metro Boomin, A$AP Rocky, and dozens more when 50 pulled out a printed Drake op list during a December 2024 interview with radio host Big Boy and said the following.
This is the op page.
Right.
He was just winning consistently more than everybody else in the culture. And then these people start to turn into people that feel like they're ops all over the page, Big. Because they keep watching them win. And then you go, I want this thing forever, man.
Right.
I'm not sure you can have it forever.
Right.
Not forever.
To be clear, Drake never authorized this list, and 50 Cent didn't create this Drake op list either. It originated from a fan account, Drake Debate, on X, formerly known as Twitter, but it became a humorous prop 50 Cent used during this interview with Big Boy. Even the radio host himself was also featured on the list under his government name, Kurt Alexander. Along with what appears to be 68 typed names, 50 Cent also hand-wrote 3 more of his own, the corporate entities, Universal Music Group, Spotify, and iHeartRadio that Drake was pursuing legal actions against at the time because of their connection to Kendrick Lamar's massive Drake diss song Not Like Us. While many of the names like Kanye West and Pusha T are obvious choices, there are some picks on the list like Big Boy himself and Rory from the new Rory and Mal podcast that didn't seem to have any real op-worthy bias against Drake, other than reporting on the success of Kendrick Lamar's during the battle like most hip-hop journalists did during 2024. With that being said, let's get into 50 Cent's long list of Drake ops in alphabetical order to understand why Drake may be receiving so much hate from the industry. Being that Ab-Soul has been 1/4 of the black hippie rap crew with Schoolboy Q, J-Rock, and Kendrick Lamar, it should come as no surprise that Ab-Soul has offered his thoughts on Drake and Kendrick Lamar's beef, feeling that Drake was out of his league. The Top Dog Entertainment artist posted on X, formerly Twitter, on July 9, 2024 after much of the back and forth between Drake and Kendrick had already taken place and said, "This was not a rap battle. It was scripture. If Drake is the MC I imagine he can be, redemption is not off the table. Keyword, MC. But before my rant gets out of context, he could never F with the Gangnam on some rap stuff. That was never a question. We could still potentially match artistry, removing my obvious personal educated bias. If this is taken as an antic of any sort and not ism, well, get off if you mad then. Dead homies. P.S. Where the true artists at? If it ain't a good picture you draw, don't bring it to the architect." Then several months later in the middle of October 2024, it appeared that Ab-Soul continued to address Drake in a freestyle he delivered on Funkmaster Flex's Hot 97 radio show, where he apparently took aim at Drake's friend Chubbs. On the show, Ab-Soul rapped, "Actions speak loud, but so does moments of silence." This seemed to be a response to Drake's OVO affiliate Chubbs, whom the previous week posted several selfies on Instagram with the caption, "Actions speak louder than words, y'all boys talk too much." Chubbs had also previously called out Kendrick Lamar on various occasions during the course of the feud with Drake, referring to Kendrick as a little boy who, quote, knows better than to challenge OVO. Drake may have been repping the sneaker and apparel brand Nike lately, but once upon a time he was aligned with their competition, ADIDAS. But this relationship fell apart back in 2018 when Drake and Pusha T collided lyrically while both artists were still associated with ADIDAS. First of all, Pusha T's album Daytona contained the song Infrared, which took shots at Drake and his open secret of using ghostwriters at times. Drake fired back with the diss song Duppy Freestyle then took aim at both Kanye West and Pusha T. Then Pusha T took up the drama another notch with the brutal Drake dissection song, The Story of ADIDAS, with the double whammy of artwork featuring a picture of Drake in blackface and revealing to the world that Drake had a son named Adonis. It also didn't help that Pusha T painted Drake as a deadbeat dad, rapping, "Adonis is your son and he deserves more than an Adidas press run." Pusha T also spilled the Adidas tea that year on the Breakfast Club radio show in New York City, stating,
allegedly, his new line on Adidas is called ADIDAS, which is named after Adonis, his son. But we couldn't know about your child until you start selling sweatsuits and sneakers. We don't know. Listen, we don't know. We just know that we couldn't know until he sold a sweatsuit.
From that point forward, Drake was actively distancing himself from the Adidas brand by sporting Nikes in public, even wearing a special edition of the Nike Air Max Plus night after night during his Aubrey and the Three Migos tour. Drake also shunned Adidas on the 2018 anthem Sicko Mode by Travis Scott with his line, "Checks over stripes, that's what I like." Pusha T continued to address the Drake and Adidas tension on Joe Budden's podcast, clarifying that he learned about Drake's son Adonis from Drake's longtime friend and producer Noah 40 Shabib, not Kanye West, as Drake assumed was the case. When Pusha T was asked on the podcast if he was responsible for destroying Drake's deal with Adidas, Pusha T replied,
"But, you know, the thing about Adidas, man, and that bar and all that shit, like at the end of the day, the house that we're at Adidas, man, we got the creatives. We are the ones who are like,
I saw you at the long table.
I would say we're the gatekeepers of this shit when it comes to this.
We know y'all bought all the Nike designers.
I mean, you know, when you say Ye, you say P, you say myself, like, and Adidas as a whole, they were first when it came to embracing tastemakers and embracing that whole energy. Like anybody else who does it, more power to them, but it's first here. Adidas is we started this shit.
2 years later, Pusha T's childhood friend and frequent collaborator Pharrell Williams was a guest on the Drink Champs podcast and confirmed that Drake had a deal with Adidas.
He did have a deal there, but again, all of this was unbeknownst to me. Like, Drake told me that he had a situation there, but I didn't know that any of this would ever come up.
After Pusha outed the Adidas and Drake deal in the song The Story of Adidas, nobody at Adidas ever spoke about it, and Drake would later collaborate with Nike for the Nocta collection. Anthony Fantano, a popular music critic known for creating the YouTube channel The Needle Drop, probably wasn't surprised to find his name on 50 Cent's list of Drake ops. For years, Anthony Fantano has often had low reviews of Drake's albums. Several of Anthony Fantano's reactions to Drake albums have been ratings of 4 out of 10 and lower, including Views, which was rated a strong 4.
Again, where are the ghostwriters? I mean, were there ghostwriters on this one? If no, bring them back. And if yeah, hire twice as many ghostwriters as you have going now. I can't really say I like this record. You know, it's not the worst rap album I've heard all year, but it's so underwhelming.
Scorpion, rating light to a decent 4.
But goddamn, what a slog this album was. I'm really glad it's over. I'm really glad I'm done with it. But, geez. I just pray for a day where Drake gets back to writing more focused albums with stronger, clearer directions, instead of just trying to pad this stuff out into oblivion.
Certified Lover Boy, rating light 3.
And the Certified Lover Boy, I think, is the most punishing of these 90-minute marathons that Drake has been dropping as of late. And that's mostly due to a lack of memorable songs and even memorable performances from Drake himself. Like, he is legitimately outshined by every feature on this project, even the ones that don't even sound like they're trying all that hard. Hello, Travis Scott. It's like half the time Drake doesn't know whether or not he wants to rip off himself or rip off some other artist on this project. He's just kind of switching back and forth between that over and over.
Honestly, never mind. Rating not good out of 10.
What is the use in being the biggest rap artist on the planet with access to the best producers and sound engineers that money can buy if your stuff is still going to have the quality of a SoundCloud dance music producer who's put together his first remix? I really think this is Drake's lowest point yet in terms of level of effort. He really put almost nothing into this record. It's one note, badly produced, weakly sung, horrendously underwritten.
Apparently, Drake didn't take too kindly to the criticism and went as far as to send hateful direct messages to Fantano on Instagram in 2022. After receiving Drake's DMs, Fantano, who doesn't mind some good trolling to spice up his channel, created a YouTube video in which he made the claim that Drake reached out to him on Instagram to put an end to any friction related to the ratings of his past work by Fantano on the Needle Drop. To add some extra humor to the story, Fantano said that Drake sent him a recipe for vegan cookies. Apparently, the jokes didn't go over too well with Drake because he chose to roast Anthony Fantano instead by exposing the DMs that he actually sent to Fantano, which had nothing to do with vegan cookies, mocking the critic by saying, quote, "Your existence is a light one, and the one is because you are alive, and because you somehow wifed a black girl. I'm feeling a light to decent one on your existence." A$AP Rocky first got on Drake's radar back in 2011 when Rocky released his early viral songs Purple Swag and Peso. Then after releasing his beloved mixtape Live Love A$AP that same year, A$AP Rocky ended up connecting with Drake and was invited to be an opening act for Drake's Club Paradise tour the following year, which went on to become the highest grossing hip-hop tour of 2012. After A$AP Rocky dropped the song Effin' Problems featuring Drake, Kendrick Lamar, and 2 Chainz, which would end up being Rocky and Drake's only song together, the two appeared to stay cool over the years, until A$AP Rocky got into a romantic relationship with Rihanna, which happens to be somewhat of Drake's involvement. Some would call X. We're not too sure. The news of Rihanna and A$AP Rocky dating came out in 2021, but Drake seemed to ignore the subject. It wasn't until January of 2022 when A$AP Rocky and Rihanna announced they were expecting their first child together that Drake seemed to be publicly bothered. The X News account Pop Tings made it known that Drake had unfollowed both A$AP Rocky and Rihanna. The following year, on February 12, 2023, Rihanna was the headline performer for the Super Bowl halftime show, and at the conclusion of her performance, she revealed that she was once again pregnant with A$AP Rocky and was expecting the child soon. Later that year, on October 6, 2023, Drake released his 8th studio album, For All the Dogs, and on the song Fear of Heights, he finally seems to throw some passive-aggressive shade at Rihanna without naming names. In the opening lines of Fear of Heights, Drake would rap, "Why they make it sound like I'm still hung up on you? That could never be. Gal can't run me. Better him than me. Better it's not me." Drake also continues to make mention of Rocky's woman Rihanna by incorporating the title of her 2016 album Anti with lines like, I'm anti. Yeah, and the sex was average with you. Yeah, I'm anti because I had it with you." In 2024, A$AP Rocky was featured on Show of Hands, a song from Metro and Future's album We Still Don't Trust You. On the track, A$AP Rocky appears to come back at Drake with rhymes such as, "They swear they chick the baddest, I just bagged the worst one. They and they feelings over women, what you hurt or son? I smashed before you birthed it, son. Flacco hit it first, son. Still don't trust you, it's always us, never them. Heard you dropped your latest ish, funny how it just came and went." Bobbi Althoff is a podcaster and influencer that got her start by posting on TikTok in 2021, addressing parental topics while she was pregnant with her second child. She has since evolved into a podcast host of The Really Good Podcast that has over 1.5 million YouTube subscribers, known for her straightforward, deadpan delivery. Bobbi Althoff has managed to land some gigantic interviews with Shaq, Lil Yachty, Offset, Saweetie, Jimmy Kimmel, Tyga, and even Drake, who she was able to get on her podcast by allegedly DMing him after completing a couple of episodes. I decided to just go for it and shoot my shot. I DM'd Drake and asked if he wanted to be on my podcast, and he said yes. He sent me his touring schedule, and I knew that I needed to make it happen fast. So my friend and I flew to Memphis 2 days after the original DM was sent to record the episode. But surprisingly, her Drake clips from their interview seem to have been wiped off the internet, and they both have unfollowed each other on social media. When Bobbi Althoff was asked on the This Is Keke Palmer podcast why Drake decided to unfollow her, Bobby's response was vague. I guess we'll never know. He's a very nice person, and he definitely clearly changed the trajectory of my whole career. Either him or Funny Marco, but both of them definitely changed my whole entire life. So it's crazy. Without them, I was still going to be posting with my 100K views. Even though there was gossip circulating that Drake and Bobby Althoff might have slept together, especially since their deleted interview took place with both of them in a bed, which is not really anything more than a set, she has insisted that there is no truth to that rumor. Much of Busta Rhymes' success can be attributed to his proven ability to remain relevant by collaborating with many of the biggest artists of each era that he's been a part of since making his debut in 1991 with his group Leaders of the New School. Busta has brought his aggressive lyricism to songs with A Tribe Called Quest, Notorious B.I.G., Erykah Badu, Janet Jackson, Jay-Z, Pharrell, Chris Brown, Nicki Minaj, Kanye West, Eminem, Tory Lanez, Young Thug, and even DaBaby. With that being said, it seems strange that we have never gotten an official Busta Rhymes and Drake song. This fact raised even more questions when Busta Rhymes' name popped up on 50 Cent's list of Drake ops. If there were any doubts as to whether or not Busta would be open to working with Drake, he made it clear on The Breakfast Club in November of 2023 that he considered Drake among his list of dream collaborations.
Yeah, I ain't worked with Cole yet. I want to work with Cole.
J. Cole.
I'm a huge fan of J. Cole.
I'm sure he's listening right now, J. Cole.
I'm a huge fan of J. Cole. I'm a huge fan of Jid.
Jid.
Jid is crazy.
Shout out to Jid. Jid is crazy too.
Big shout to Jid. Huge fan of Drake. Love to work with Drake. Huge fan of... There's a singer... I love Friday's work. There's a young lady, what's her name, Coco Jones?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Coco Jones.
Coco Jones is incredible
to me.
Dope. She's incredible to me. I'm a huge fan of Janelle Monáe, too.
So why would Busta Rhymes be considered as an op to Drake if he wants to put in work with him in the studio? It may have something to do with Busta's praise of other artists that Drake has had problems with, including Kendrick Lamar, who appeared on Busta Rhymes' 2020 album Extinction Level Event 2 on the song called Look Over Your Shoulder. In fact, during that same year of 2020, Busta Rhymes found himself caught in the middle of a Drake feud sparked by producer Swizz Beatz, who called out Drake during a conversation that Swizz and Busta had on Instagram. While on IG Live for Zone Radio with Busta Rhymes, Swizz called Drizzy a PUSSY boy while talking about the J Dilla produced record reportedly titled Stay Down that Busta had with Drake. This track could have been the big moment that fans of both artists were waiting for. Unfortunately, the song was leaked and Swizz Beatz blamed Drake for that unauthorized release. Busta Rhymes gave his 2 cents on the situation by saying,
Drake wanted to get some production from Dilla, and he knew that I had it, and we was talking about him working with Dilla with some of the stuff that I had in the stash. And, I ain't gonna front. Drake is definitely one of the prominent MCs that I'm a fan of. And interestingly, when he did the record, it wasn't even something that we planned to do together. It was something that he did, and it didn't happen where it was supposed to happen. And when I saw that it was laying dormant, I thought that it was only right to try to complete the record. I don't want to get it misconstrued. He didn't come to me to make a record with me. He wanted to do Dilla beat. Dilla beats. That's what it was about. Like this, that's what I'm saying.
Busta Rhymes continued on to explain that he and Drake never ironed things out to properly release the track. When Swizz Beatz inquired as to why things pertaining to the song never got sorted out, Busta said that he had no idea why and that he and Drake never discussed it further. This is when Swizz Beatz began berating Drake, saying the following on the IG Live.
That kid is a good kid as well. He's not a bad kid. He's a good kid. He started from different things. We made hit record together. It's all love. It's all love. I don't want no problems with anything. I just want to play music because my filter is burnt. At the end of the day, niggas is pussy for real. What's up? Pop off. Let's go.
Later that same week, Swizz Beatz apologized for disrespecting Drake, saying, "My whole energy was based on something that got leaked that you couldn't put out no matter what the circumstances is. But it's cool. That's a little kid. That's a guy. That's a little guy. It's no personal things. If it was personal, we'd shoot your plane out the sky." But Drake's friend and muscle Chubbs didn't seem to accept Swizz Beatz' explanation, posted on Instagram by saying, "We don't need no apology. It's clear you don't like us, so act the same way when you see us." The following year, in 2021, Drake made it known that he still carried a grudge over Swizz Beatz' comments when he seemingly took aim at Swizz on the Certified Lover Boy song You Only Live Twice, featuring Lil Wayne and Rick Ross, with the lyrics, "Unthinkable when I think of the way these guys been acting. I never did you nothing and you play like we family, huh? Next thing you want to shoot me down, it can't be love. Not sure where you was trying to send it, it can't be up. That day you sounded like a chick, you fancy, huh?" The lyrics appeared to reference Swizz's wife Alicia Keys' 2010 song Unthinkable that Drake wrote and remixed, and Fancy, a track Swizz wrote, produced, and appeared on for Drake's 2010 debut album Thank Me Later. Drizzy's Shoot Me Down line also seems to address Swizz's remarks about shooting Drake out of the sky if they really had any personal beef. Then in 2022, in a Busta Rhymes interview with the Daily Beast, Drake's name came up again when Busta explained why he thought rappers like Kendrick Lamar are critically acclaimed and why Drake has been snubbed at the Grammys on multiple occasions. J. Cole is doing his job, Kendrick doing his job, Chance the Rapper doing his job, Childish Gambino is doing his job. These are the newer dudes. They're doing it more than the older dudes as far as the music is concerned. They out here talking that ish. They shooting the videos. They're making those messages speak volumes. They're having super success with it. Kendrick ain't got no records in the club. He taking all the Grammys home. You might hear Future in the club. You might hear Drake in the club. But Kendrick took all the Grammys home. Chance the Rapper taking all the Grammys home. Childish Gambino. At the end of the day, people respect substance. Then on July 5th, 2024, in the height of the Kendrick Lamar and Drake beef, Busta Rhymes appeared to have taken Kendrick's side in the dispute when he took the stage at the Essence Festival in New Orleans, Louisiana. Before Busta left the stage, his DJ started playing a new version of Kendrick Lamar's massive Drake diss, but this one featured lyrics from Busta Rhymes. Could this event be another reason why Busta's name appeared on the infamous Drake op list? Potentially. The radio host, television personality, and comedian Charlamagne the God admits that he and Drake have a love-hate relationship. For instance, after the release of Billboard and Vibe's 50 Greatest Rappers of All Time list in 2023, Charlamagne didn't think that Drake or Kendrick Lamar deserved to be placed in the top 10, stating, "I feel like it's too early for Drake and Kendrick to be saying stuff like that. Of all time? Goddamn. Penis is a form of transportation for y'all." But the friction between Drake and Charlamagne can be traced all the way back to 2013 when Charlamagne gave his blunt and unforgiving opinion of Drake's pop record Hold On We're Going Home, suggesting that maybe he should stick to rapping and leave singing alone.
Oh, I hate that shit. Hate it. Hate it. Hate it. Hate it. Sonically, it's a great record. If it was Miguel, I'd probably love it. If it was Trey Songz singing it, I'd probably love it. If you can be the next Jay-Z, why would you want to be the next Miguel?
In 2018, Drake had some comments for Charlamagne in reference to the denied skin bleaching rumors that the media personality had faced in the lyrics for the Scorpion track Sandra's Rose when he said, "Backstabbed so many times I started walking backwards. Like Charlamagne, I see the light and see the darkest patches." Days later, Charlamagne summed up his relationship with Drake on Watch What Happens Live with Andy Cohen.
I think me and Drake will always have a love-hate relationship. It's like Skip Bayless and LeBron James. I'll never, even though he's great, I'll never really have anything too good to say about him.
In December 2020, during an episode of Brilliant Idiots, Charlamagne the God suggested that the Drake era was over.
Radio, and we have these conversations all the time, they haven't caught up to what's actually going on in the streets yet. Right. So they still haven't changed the temperature. So it still feels like we're in a Drake era. I don't think we're in a Drake era. I don't think we've been in a Drake era for the past 2-3 years.
The following year, in March of 2021, Charlamagne jokingly wondered if Drake had the Billboard Hot 100 rigged. Don't let the heart cut in the head fool you. Aubrey Graham is a demon who doesn't play fair. He cheated. I can't prove it. This might be pure hate. I'm not standing on nothing with this. I just think he cheated. Then in 2022, Charlamagne went as far as to call Drake's Honestly Nevermind album elevator music.
This is like a lobby elevator music. It's the vibes when you're sitting in the lobby at the SLS hotel having some drinks on a leather couch with the lights dimly lit. I'm never going to revisit the album again, but if it comes on when I'm in the lobby of a luxury hotel, I'm not mad at it.
In a 2023 episode of Brilliant Idiots, Charlamagne addressed his dislike of Drake's single Slime You Out featuring SZA, downplaying the rollout for Drake's For All the Dogs album and considering the music to be softer than the artwork and album title suggested. Drake responded by calling Charlamagne the God an off-brand Morris Chestnut, as well as stating, "Are you okay, Leonard? You kinda weirding me out, G, like you're really obsessed with me or something. For years, like you look in the mirror and wish you saw my reflection type-ish. Whatever you gotta do to let it out, I'm sure your 435 loyal fans will stand by you, you effing goof." Then, the following month, Charlamagne showed that he was clearly enjoying having fun at Drake's expense during an episode of The Breakfast Club when he sarcastically said,
I want to tell y'all something, but you're not going to believe me because I'm lying. But Drake and I plan this out every time he drops an album. I'm part of the album rollout. He drops a record, I critique it. It brings more attention to the record, more attention to the project. I keep telling Drake he doesn't need me to do that. He's Drake, but for whatever reason, he wants me to do it, so I oblige. Okay?
I don't believe you.
I'm just telling you. It wasn't always like that, though. Back in the day, I can honestly say I was hating on Drake for fun. It was hilarious, at least to me.
Among 50 Cent's lengthy list of who he perceives to be Drake's ops was kick streamer Nerman CHEESUR, who is typically seen streaming with Adin Ross. Oddly enough, Adin Ross has been known to be a friend of Drake with multiple online interactions. At one point, Drake organized a boxing match between CHEESUR and Adin Ross, putting up $1 million to the winner. Adin Ross and CHEESUR took the fight to a kick-themed boxing ring, with Adin Ross coming out as the winner and CHEESUR getting knocked down several times. In September of 2024, CHEESUR and Adin Ross popped up in a joint broadcast together inside of a club. CHEESUR was seen rapping and dancing to Kendrick Lamar's Not Like Us, Grammy-winning diss track against Drake. Later on, Adin Ross was informed that Drake had sent messages in his Kick broadcast chat insisting on CHEESUR to come to Canada and for him to give up his address. Adin Ross took Drake's side and was publicly criticizing CHEESUR for playing Kendrick Lamar tracks during his broadcast. Then in October of 2024, Drake unfollowed CHEESUR on the X social media platform after the Kick streamer made disparaging remarks about Drake showcasing his son by saying,
Drake just came in my chat and left. Fuck you, Drake, and fuck your ugly ass son. It's not even your kid. This is your kid, bro. Tell me how the fuck this is your kid.
Seeing the entire music section of the Complex Media Company on the Drake op list seems strange. It's not like Complex has been openly biased against Drake. When they published their list of Drake's project ranked from worst to best on September 6, 2024, they even had good things to say about many of Drake's lesser-loved albums, such as his two 2022 albums, Her Loss and Honestly Nevermind. Drake's album Her Loss with 21 Savage was listed at number 6 out of 16 projects with these positive remarks. I'll just say it, critics were too hard on this one. Only God knows how it would have been received if not for petty jabs at Megan Thee Stallion and Serena Williams' husband. Despite their contrasting styles, Her Loss is a collaboration that feels totally symbiotic, with Drizzy and 21 Savage enhancing one another's attributes without sacrificing their individual potency. Complex ranked Drake's house music-inspired album Honestly Nevermind as his 7th best, by stating, despite its creativity and commercial success, it couldn't be ranked as Drake's best album because amongst a list of rap albums, it stands alone. But give the world a few more years to catch up, and we could see this album climbing its way into the top 5 of his catalog. Maybe Complex was assumed to be a Drake op when they published a piece called Drake Fatigue was building long before the Kendrick Lamar beef. The writer spoke about being one of the 16,000 people in attendance at the Kia Forum in Inglewood, California, for Kendrick's infamous Ken and Friends Juneteenth concert, where Kendrick's fans got hyped to Not Like Us being performed 6 times in a row, including other Drake ops like Compton rapper YG and NBA legend Russell Westbrook, which we'll get into later. Complex's writer laid out how Drake fatigue began at least 5 years before the Kendrick Lamar beef, blaming unbalanced albums, less impactful moments, and unfavorable public opinions. Throughout the Drake fatigue article in Complex Music, some of the comments regarding a sagging interest in Drake include, the rollout and release of Certified Lover Boy symbolized the issues that were brewing. After not dropping a studio album of completely new music in 3 years, 2020's Dark Lane demo tapes was a low-stakes mix of leaks and some new joints. Drake returned with C.O.B., an album that sold decently enough but also featured a palpable decline in quality. The perplexing cover art mixed with second-tier Drake songs featuring cringe lines like "You're a lesbian, well me too," capsulized an era where it felt like Drizzy was often parodying himself. Dissing Meg and trivializing her shooting soured Her Loss for many of his fans. Then he doubled down on the antics by sending subliminal shots at Rihanna on the For All the Dogs cut, Fear of Heights, not even a year later. Fans have been calling Drake a misogynist for a while, so when Dot rapped that the Toronto rapper hates women on Euphoria, or that he's a deviant on Meet the Grams, people were more inclined to agree. Almost every Kendrick line from "We don't want to hear you say Nigga no more" to "I heard you like him young" were memes repackaged by Dot. So much so, fans theorized Kendrick was stealing bars from tweets. The "You're a colonizer" line on Not Like Us works because there have been years of conversations about Drake jacking slang and style. He couldn't meme Kendrick into oblivion like he did with Meek Mill. Social media wasn't on his side this time. While Drake was releasing AI diss tracks, writing out nav lyric captions, and uploading 10 Things I Hate About You clips, Dot was going for the jugular, and Kendrick's disses were well received because, frankly, listeners were ready to see Drake lose. When Drake dropped his Kendrick Lamar diss Family Matters in response to Kendrick Lamar's diss tracks Euphoria and 616 in LA, he made the surprising claim that Kendrick's business collaborator Dave Free might be the biological father to one of Kendrick's children, with Kendrick's fiancée Whitney Alford with the lyrics, "I heard that one of them little kids might be Dave Free. Don't make it Dave Freeze, cause if your GM is your BM secret BD." Dave Free is the former president of Kendrick Lamar's previous record label Top Dog Entertainment and also co-founded his own record company with Kendrick Lamar in 2020 called PG Lang. While working at Top Dog Entertainment, Dave Free also directed Kendrick Lamar's short films and music videos, along with winning a Grammy in 2018 in the Best Music Video category for Kendrick's Humble from his 4th studio album Damn. But Drake had more to say about Dave Free when he released the Kendrick clapback The Heart Part 6, where Drake accused Whitney Alford of being disloyal to her fiancé with Dave Free with lines like, "What about the bones we dug up in that excavation? And why isn't Whitney denying all the allegations? Why is she following Dave Free and not Mr. Morale?" Drake went even further on the song by saying, "You haven't seen the kids in 6 months, the distance is wild. Dave leaving heart emojis under pics of the child." But any beef that Drake wanted to start between Kendrick Lamar's family and Dave Free with baby daddy accusations seemingly came to an end when Kendrick Lamar dropped the much-anticipated video for Not Like Us on July 4th, 2024, that was co-directed by Dave Free. Kendrick even had his fiancée Whitney dancing in the music video, further dismissing the idea that there was any trouble in paradise between the couple and between the business partners. Although the LA battle rapper DAYLYT has relationships with both Drake and Kendrick Lamar, he was probably lumped in as an op of Drake due to his close connection to Kendrick's former Top Dog Entertainment label head Punch. Both DAYLYT and Punch are members of the hip-hop collective A Room Full of Mirrors, along with other rappers such as Nick Grant, the Ichiban Don, Lyric Michelle, and Hari. But then there were also the swirling rumors that DAYLYT helped Drake write his Meek Mill diss song back-to-back. DAYLYT spoke with Elliot Wilson, DJ Head, and Jeremy Hecht on an episode of The Bigger Picture to clarify the situation.
I could clear the air right now. No, I did not write back-to-back. I just put that out there. I'll leave that in the air. Now, what I can say, and I'll say this publicly, I may be in some inspiration to the concept of the record. Now, in the midst of that beef, after, Charged Up dropped, I most definitely was like, "Hey, bro, you got to drop some shit back to back. Like, you need to run some shit back to back to back to back." And I just kept saying back to back, and then that became, I guess, the idea of the record. Because I was like, "Yo, you got to drop back to back. Don't give them no time. Don't give them no time to reply. Like, just back to back. Like, just double up on." And that concept alone turned into like an actual record. I won't speak on anything else. Y'all got to talk to my agents and stuff.
This DAYLYT ghostwriting rumor is what some believed fueled Kendrick Lamar's line on Future and Metro Boomin's Like That, where he rapped, "And your best work is a light pack." When DAYLYT was asked whether or not he thinks Kendrick Lamar's lines were referring to DAYLYT writing for Drake, DAYLYT wasn't sure.
Knowing Kendrick and how he raps, he's very sneaky, so I don't know if he meant it or not. I truthfully don't know.
Even though Drake and the NBA basketball player DeMar DeRozan were once close friends, that has all come crashing down in the midst of the Drake and Kendrick clash. Before that bond was broken, it began back in 2009, the year DeMar DeRozan was drafted to the Toronto Raptors and the city's rising rapper Drake dropped his mixtape So Far Gone that would later be repackaged as his first major label EP release. Not only was 2009 the year DeMar DeRozan signed to the Toronto Raptors, he was also the 9th overall NBA draft pick and would spend 9 seasons with the Raptors, becoming the franchise's all-time leading scorer. The relationship between Drake and DeMar DeRozan was on full display when they both landed on the cover of Slam magazine, along with fellow former Toronto rapper Kyle Lowry on its April 2016 cover titled Six Gods. Both DeMar DeRozan and Kyle Lowry claimed to have a friendship with Drake and that he was really supportive. DeRozan also shared that he lived near Drake in LA and they spent time with each other practically every summer. Drake was still supportive of DeMar DeRozan when he left the Toronto Raptors and was traded to the San Antonio Spurs, But when DeRozan returned to his home state of California to play for the Sacramento Kings, he found himself in the Kendrick Lamar and Drake feud. In May of 2024, DeMar DeRozan was mentioned by Kendrick in the song Not Like Us, who said that he was happy that DeRozan was traded because Kendrick believed the Raptors and the city of Toronto didn't deserve him. DeMar DeRozan went a step further and was on stage with Kendrick Lamar while he performed Not Like Us at the Pop-Out concert in Inglewood, California, where another one of Drake's NBA friends, LeBron James, was in the crowd. After the concert, Drake unfollowed both DeMar DeRozan and LeBron James on Instagram. Then in July of 2024, DeMar DeRozan also went on to make a cameo appearance in Kendrick Lamar's Not Like Us music video. In an interview with Fox 40, DeMar DeRozan explained why Drake shouldn't take his appearance in Kendrick's video personally.
Love Drake. You love Drake. We always could play him. Kendrick been a friend of mine, family, damn near family. For a long time, for a while. We from the same city, grew up damn near in the same neighborhood. So it's always been there. It haven't always been publicized, but that's basically family.
Then in an interview with the Sacramento Bee, DeMar DeRozan further downplayed any tension between him and Drake. Drake's still my man. Still my man. None of it changed. It's so easy to get overlooked and look at it for what it looks like, but at the end of the day, it's music, entertainment. Two of the biggest rappers in the world went at it from a competitive standpoint, and they battled it out. In October of 2024, Drake had some words for his allies who seemed to support Kendrick Lamar amidst their beef that fans assumed included people like DeMar DeRozan.
My real friends are definitely in the building. But I'm going to tell you, you're going to come to a point in life where people you thought were friends, or people you thought were close to you, they might switch up, they might try to move funny with you, they might stab you in the back, they might do a lot of things to you. You'll come to that realization, wherever you're at in life, you've probably been there and you'll be there again. That's how life is. But look, sometimes it's you and you alone by yourself. Sometimes it's you alone with your thoughts. Sometimes, you know what?
Then there was that moment in November of 2024 when Drake dissed DeMar DeRozan during a Sacramento Kings and Toronto Raptors game. This was DeMar DeRozan's first time back in Toronto since his appearance in Not Like Us, and Drake happened to be sitting courtside next to OVO Chubbs. During the game, Drake could be seen mean-mugging DeMar DeRozan and later called the player a goof and a pussy. Drake pushed the tension further while speaking to Raptors commentators during the middle of the game, saying, "If you ever put up a DeMar DeRozan banner, I'll go up there and pull it down myself." After the game ended, DeMar DeRozan was asked about Drake's jersey comments, and he responded saying,
"Well, he gonna have a long way to climb to take it down, so tell him good luck."
And also posted a clip from the movie Friday about the character Debo, which also happens to be DeRozan's nickname, with the insinuation being that Drake only acts tough when other people aren't around. But Drake's remarks about DeRozan apparently led to the Toronto Raptors banning him from using headphones when courtside and commentating during the game by saying, "How long is my headphone ban? I was born to commentate. Good old 1-year ban, it is what it is. It was good while it lasted. I'll be back one day." California's DJ Head has not only gone out on tour with Drake's mentor Lil Wayne, but he's toured with Drake's sworn enemy, Kendrick Lamar. In fact, along with DJ Mustard, DJ Head was also an opening act for Kendrick Lamar's The Pop Out on June 19, 2024. This appearance probably sealed the deal when it came to adding DJ Head's name to 50 Cent's Drake op list, but even with DJ Head's working relationship with Kendrick Lamar and operated as somewhat of a mouthpiece during the beef, he still has had positive things to say about Drake on his podcast, The Bigger Picture, during the heat of the beef.
You know what? Thank you, Drake, what you've done for the ecosystem. We appreciate you. No, I'm not even throwing shade. Drake has done more for hip hop than a lot of people give him credit for, because he's actively participated in the culture the whole time.
Yeah.
And there's credit to be owed for that. You know what I'm saying? He's also used his platform to benefit others outside of himself.
It isn't hard to guess why DJ Mustard was listed as one of Drake's ops. Mustard produced Not Like Us, the biggest diss record that Kendrick Lamar launched against Drake in their epic battle. In an August 2024 interview with the LA Times, DJ Mustard made it clear that he had zero intentions to produce a song for Drake, who he called a strange guy, and referred to as the, quote, Malcolm X of white people, and blamed Drake's associate DJ Academics and Gordo for helping to sabotage Mustard's album rollout for Faith of a Mustard Seed that sold 18,000 units in its first week. The 2024 beef between Kendrick Lamar and Drake had a lot of people in the hip-hop industry having to choose sides. Kendrick Lamar's famous producer and mentor Dr. Dre revealed the negative thing Drake did that made him side with Kendrick. Interestingly enough, Dr. Dre had known Drake well before he was famous, hiring him to work as a songwriter early on with allegedly none of the songs getting used. Drake recalled his time with Dr. Dre on one line on his song Away From Home from Drake's album For All the Dogs. Dr. Dre will send a man home, that took patience. Further confirming Drake's 2005 time with Dr. Dre, author John Seabrook released a book called The Song Machine, Inside the Hit Factory, where Drake told John Seabrook, "It was some of the most strenuous, militant-ish I've ever done, but no usable songs came out of it. When I think of how he worked us, it's no wonder he didn't get anything out of it. It was just writers in a room churning out product all day long." Drake told the author that he and his friend and producer, 40, were paid $10,000 for their work after Dre flew them out to Los Angeles. This means that Dr. Dre had a working relationship with both Drake and Kendrick decades before the beef. But Dr. Dre would stay loyal to his hometown hero, Kendrick, even after remaining quiet during the height of the battle. But Dre's silence ended when he decided to weigh in on the beef when he made an appearance on the Unusual Suspects podcast and had this to say about Drake's approach to his battle with Kendrick Lamar.
I don't want to get negative. You know, my whole shit is about being positive and moving forward and all that shit. But the fact that I heard Drake say something negative about Kendrick's wife and his kids, that made me say, adios.
Actor Donald Glover, who also makes music under the name Childish Gambino, seems to have not been the biggest fan of Drake dating back to 2014 when he dissed him along with other rappers of his era during a freestyle performance in Australia with lines such as, "Nah, I ain't Drake, I sing better, I do better, my ish is wetter, I'm the best rapper, definitely top 5, I'll cut their heads off, that's every rapper living, that's Kendrick, that's Drake, that's Schoolboy, that's everyone, I don't give a F." Then several years later, Childish Gambino revealed a personal secret about the creation of his hit song This Is America that offended Drake by saying, "The idea for this song started off as a joke, and it started as a Drake diss, to be honest, as like a funny way of doing it. But then I was like, this just sounds kind of hard though, you know? So I was like, let me play with it." This Is America earned Childish Gambino 4 2019 Grammys for Best Song, Best Music Video, Best Rap Sung Performance, and Record of the Year. After finding out the backstory about This Is America, Drake called the song overrated and over-awarded in the visual banner on the edge of the stage while he was on tour. Even during the Kendrick Lamar versus Drake conflict, it appears that Childish Gambino couldn't help but insert himself into it after allegedly sending some subliminal lines in Drake's direction. Fans picked apart some of the bars in Childish Gambino's song Yoshinoya from his album Bando Stone and the New World, and appear to have uncovered some subs, such as the beginning of the first verse that seemingly references Kendrick Lamar's 616 in LA. "You got your biz in the streets, I wash my hands when I eat, I find your house on the app, people around you ain't slat, they plotting hard when you slack." Elsewhere in the song when Gambino says "F with my kids, you F with your life," it can be perceived as a warning for Drake to not include family members in his musical conflicts, and Drake's alleged mouthpiece Academics seems to be the inspiration for lines like "Act not silent like knife," or "AK not silent like knife." Then in the second verse, Childish Gambino could be referencing J. Cole's apology to Kendrick Lamar when he raps, "Integrity ho, say what I mean, apologize if I didn't, or clarify if it's written in stone. Freak it and leave it alone, give it time, let the truth come to light, let him catch up, they peeping like damn, he was right." Arguably, the weirdest turn that took place during the entire Drake and Kendrick Lamar beef was the rise of the X account Ebony Prince 2K24. Ebony Prince claimed to be exposing the darker sides of Drake's private life, adding fuel to the fire that Kendrick was blazing Drake's reputation with. The account popped up during the battle with a video of the alleged items from the Meet the Grams song artwork. The Ebony Prince 2K24 profile showcased surveillance footage that shows Drake with a disabled journalist in Brooklyn by the name of Christopher Alvarez, leading to strange rumors that Drake may have assaulted Alvarez. Ebony Prince began hyping a big reveal that he had coming, but it never took place, and roughly around that time that the account was supposed to release concrete allegations, Christopher Alvarez made it clear that nothing happened between Drake and himself. Once Ebony went from constantly posting to going radio silent online, many people began writing off the profile account as a total scam. Ebro Darden, the radio personality from Hot 97 based in New York and Apple Music's Rap Life, hasn't been shy about critiquing Drake. Back in July of 2023, Ebro called out Drake for never giving his opinion on black issues after Drake's diss Childish Gambino's song This Is America. Drake, who has never shown up, and y'all know I'm the biggest Drake fan on this show, Drake has never shown up to have anything to say about anything going on in society with black folks or anything other than himself. Then a year later, in July of 2024, while discussing Drake's beef with Kendrick Lamar, Ebro made comments about both Drake and his city of Toronto not having a definitive regional sound, which received mixed reactions from fans and was surely something that made it easy for Ebro to appear worthy of the Drake op list. Add on to the fact that, although it was for work purposes, Ebro was interviewing Kendrick Lamar on the big stage the day before he was set to perform at the Super Bowl. During a 2024 appearance on the Joe Budden podcast, the hip-hop journalist and Rap Radar founder Elliot Wilson revealed that Drake had sent him a rat emoji when Elliot Wilson asked the rapper when he was planning to drop his Kendrick diss Family Matters. Elliot assumed that Drake thought he was feeding Kendrick Lamar information about what moves Drake was planning to make in the beef. As far as Elliot Wilson was concerned, Drake may have been jumping to conclusions because Elliot was in Venice, California at the same time as Kendrick Lamar during the conflict. But this wasn't the first time Drake and Elliot Wilson have been at odds. The year before, Elliot called out Drake for his comedy shenanigans with outsiders to our culture, for which Drake responded by saying, "Just admit the youth took over, big dog." And Elliot Wilson's response was, "Oh, it's go time, cool." There have been other back and forths between them over the years, and frustrations with Elliot not receiving interviews from Drake, but at one point they did have a strong relationship, as Drake did a Rap Radar interview that's one of their best performing of all time. Drake and Future first collaborated together in 2011 on the remix for Future's breakout hit Tony Montana. Then they shared features such as Lil Wayne's Love Me, Preem's DNF, DJ Drama's We In This, and their 2015 joint mixtape What a Time to Be Alive. When Drake and Future hit the road together on the Summer 16 tour, they really built a strong bond, and FBG OVO was everywhere. The next question is, where did it all go wrong? Trouble seemed to be stirring up even back in November of 2011 when Drake didn't appear in the music video for Future's song Tony Montana that Drake rapped on. During an interview on The Source TV, Future said he considered Drake's absence from the music video to be a slap in the face, especially considering that there were several Atlanta-based artists who wanted to get on the song. Even after that issue got resolved, there would be more troubles ahead. In August of 2013, during an interview on Power 106, Future claimed that he inspired the hook on Drake's hit Started From the Bottom. He then stated that Drake bought him a fancy bottle of Louis XIII Remy Martin Grand Champagne Cognac instead of offering Future a percentage of the publishing to the song that he felt he deserved. Drake and Future had more tension after Future was temporarily removed from Drake's Would You Like a Tour after Future told Billboard, "Drake made an album that is full of hits, but it doesn't grab you. They're not possessive. They don't make you feel the way I do. I want to make you want to fall in love." About 2 months after Drake released his joint album with 21 Savage's Her Loss, rumors circulated that Future wasn't happy with Drake's partnership with 21 Savage. After Future and Metro Boomin's joint album We Don't Trust You, fans listened harder to Her Loss and came to the conclusion that the song More M's had lyrics from Drake that targeted Future. "I could really go 5 hours in the stadium. What happened to that dude claiming OVO? We traded him." The reason why it seemed to some that Drake was talking about Future was that Future previously claimed OVO in social media posts and with his outfits. Drake also took it further with raps like, "Or pop out at my shows, jump around with me on stages, probably why these hoes love to shower me with praises. Mighta effed a rapper girl, but you ain't F Drake yet." Could it be that these lyrics are about Drake and Future sleeping with the same woman and Drake being in his feelings about it? Fans did their homework and guessed that Drake and Future were possibly feuding over a woman named Diana who apparently worked at a Miami club named Booby Trap. Drake happened to have some raps in his song Fear of Heights that connect to that theory. "He might take you on trips and he might have some hits, but baby not more than me. He might be at the trapping ones, but ain't throwing more than me." In We Don't Trust You's opening track, Future seems to be tagging Drake with lines like, "You a #1 fan, dog. Sneak dissing, I don't understand, dog. Pillow talking, acting like a fed, dog. I don't need another fake friend, dog. Can't be about a hoe cause we sharing, dog. In your feelings, why you playing?" After rumors of Drake and Future's beef were circulating, fans also went back to Drake's For All the Dogs album and began seeing the song What Would Pluto Do as maybe not being a tribute to Future's nickname Pluto, but as Future getting criticized when Drake says, "What would Pluto do? He'd F the hoe, so I did it. What would Pluto do? He'd definitely effing on this hoe. Yeah." In September of 2024, it wasn't just Kendrick Lamar versus Drake as rappers. Members of their entourages were also going at it. This includes Kendrick Lamar's neighborhood friend and rapper HITTA J3 and street rapper and internet personality Top 5 who were threatening each other. After beating a murder case after evidence was dismissed by a judge, Top 5 popped up on an online stream with Aiden Ross and DJ Academics where he threatened both Kendrick and producer Metro Boomin by saying the following.
I'm just looking for Metro Boomin and Kendrick Lamar. I'm doing my homework right now. I'm doing my task on them right now. Nothing incriminating. I'm just looking for them.
What would that?
Metro Boomin 101. I don't want no weapons, nothing. I'm knocking the fuck out. You passed the border. You passed the border, man. Chubb's calling me. You passed the border, man. You passed the border, man. I will quit rapping if Kendrick Lamar goes to New York without 20 police officers and leaves with a change on. You're crazy. You're testing my against. You see what happened to DJ Drama. Me and Drake are gonna link up. Me and Drake are gonna link up in a couple of days, and we're gonna do this podcast. And
oh shit!
And we're gonna play Not Like Us video. We're gonna look at every nigga in the video. And we're gonna do homework. We're gonna look for the niggas. I don't fuck around, play around by Aubrey. That's my bro. My Jewish brother show up.
It didn't take long for HITTA J3, who appears on the cover of Kendrick Lamar's To Pimp a Butterfly, to respond on X to Top 5's remarks. Come find out then. He also posted a video of Top 5 allegedly getting pushed out of a restaurant in Toronto with HITTA J3 saying, "This the tough guy y'all talking about." In December of 2024, Tory Lanez seemingly inserted himself into Drake's beef by rapping on DDG's new Handlin' Business EP. "I be up praying and waiting for the day that they come for me the way they did Drizzy. I got the card in the wallet and Big Brody's problems are my problems. So F how you feeling about it, Brody gon' stand on his own. But 2024, it ain't no fair ones in Toronto." Whether or not Tory Lanez intended these lyrics to be a reference to Drake's beef with Kendrick Lamar, it still didn't stop HITTA J3 from taking it that way and addressing Tory Lanez, DDG, and Drake. Tory better chill out. Only person coming for him is the guard on that cell block. Nah, but free that man. DDG seen me at Rich the Kid party and looked like he seen a ghost, and I said, "What's up?" He act like he was legally blind. HITTA J3 was featured on the title track of Kendrick Lamar's GNX album and dropped a diss track called Billy Butcherson aimed at Top 5. Jack Dorsey, the former Twitter CEO and co-founder of the fintech company Block, has been a big supporter of Kendrick Lamar over the years, as well as Jay-Z. Even as far back as about a decade ago in 2015, Jack Dorsey posted a video that was shot at a Kendrick Lamar concert where he called Kendrick the greatest. Jack Dorsey even once considered having Kendrick Lamar become a Twitter board member back in 2016. Along with praising Kendrick Lamar's Pulitzer Prize-winning Damn album, he openly shared his appreciation of Kendrick's 2022 project, Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. "This is an opera. Kendrick Lamar is a poet and a teacher. I learned something new each listen, and I can't listen to anything else. Constant spin." But the love hasn't just been one-sided. Kendrick brought Jack Dorsey on for an appearance in his 2022 music video for the song Count Me Out, with Dorsey making a brief cameo where he shares a toast with Kendrick along with venture capitalist Aviv Nevo. Kendrick Lamar also partnered with Jack Dorsey's company Block and Ticketmaster to provide fans with early access concerts for his 2022 Big Steppers tour. But what really elevated Jack Dorsey's name for being just another famous Kendrick Lamar fan to the level of being considered a Drake op is the various times that Jack Dorsey supported Kendrick's Drake disses. For instance, Jack Dorsey liked the post on X calling Euphoria a top 10 diss track. He showed love to Kendrick's diss 616 in LA as well. Speaking of 616 in LA, Jack Dorsey used a heart emoji to show love to an old 2011 Kendrick Lamar post advertising a Toronto concert on June 16th. With Toronto being Drake's home, some fans had jumped to the conclusion that the 616 in Kendrick's song title is a reference to that post. After Drake dropped his response to Kendrick with the song Family Matters, Kendrick Lamar came right back about half an hour later with his own family-related response called Meet the Grams, where he speaks directly to Drake's family members. Jack Dorsey's reply to Meet the Grams was truth versus lies, which is, ironically enough, a lie considering Meet the Grams said that Drake had a daughter. Although Drake and Jay-Z have been on several songs together, including off that from Jay-Z's The Blueprint 3 in 2009, there are many reasons for fans to believe that Jay-Z is one of Drake's many high-profile ops. It seemed to have started with Drake feeling that he was the younger, new and improved Jay-Z way too early in his career. Drake has continually taken jabs at Jay over the years, starting with threatening to take Jay-Z's throne. The throne also happened to be the name of Jay and Ye's group at the time. This bravado from Drake appeared on Khaled's 2011 song I'm On One, where Drake raps, "Hate the rumors, hate the BS, hate these effing allegations. I'm just feeling like the throne is for the taking, watch me take it." Drake also had some more loose talk for Jay in a 2014 Rolling Stone interview. It's like Hove can't drop bars these days without at least 4 art references. I think the whole rap art world thing is getting kinda corny. In March of 2014, Jay-Z fired back on the We Made It freestyle with a direct verse at Drake. "Sorry, Mrs. Drizzy, for so much art talk. Silly me rapping about ish that I really bought. While these rappers rap about guns they ain't shot and a bunch of silly ish that they ain't got." In July of 2016, Jay-Z seemed to be responding to Drake's Summer 16 lyrics. "I used to want to be on Rockefeller, then I turned into Jay." Jay-Z used his first verse on the DJ Khaled song I Got the Keys to check Drake for what Jay saw as a premature boss talk. "Until you own your own, you can't be free. Till you're on your own, you can't be me." Even in February of 2017, Jay-Z wasn't done proving a point to Drake that he had way more time in and credentials to be belittled. On yet another Khaled song called Shinin', Jay-Z raps, "I know you ain't out here talking numbers, right? I know you ain't out here talking summers, right? I know you ain't walking around talking down, saying boss-ish when you a runner, right?" Jay-Z and Drake seemed to patch things up the following year in 2018 when they reunited on Drake's song Talk Up from his Scorpion album, but the bond appeared broken in 2024 when Jay-Z used his position with the NFL to select Drake's rival Kendrick Lamar to perform at the 2025 Super Bowl in New Orleans, when it seemed like the performance should have gone to Drake's mentor Lil Wayne in his hometown. This business move by Jay-Z looked even more like an anti-Drake play considering Kendrick Lamar was in a contentious beef with Drake and was now being given one of the biggest performance stages in the world to perform that song. Drake is not known for taking criticism of his music very well. This sensitivity has put Drake at odds with Joe Budden, the former rapper and successful podcaster who has absolutely no problem speaking his mind unfiltered. Unfortunately for Drake, Joe Budden has seen a lot of room for improvement in Drake's catalog over the years, and this has gotten under Drake's skin on more than one occasion. Drake dissed Joe Budden on 4 p.m. in Calabasas in 2016, a track where Drake also goes at Chris Brown and Diddy. This led to Joe Budden coming out of a rap retirement to pick Drake apart for 4 verses on the diss record Making a Murderer Part 1. Budden also followed that up with another diss track, Afraid, which sampled Drake's song The Resistance. Instead of dedicated diss records for Joe Budden, Drake decided to make fun of Joe Budden and his biggest hit song Pump It Up instead, when Drake appeared on French Montana's No Shopping. "Pump, pump, pump it up. She got a good hit on her, but I pump it up. I'm not a one-hit wonder, they know all my stuff. You let me turn into the man that you almost was." During the Drake and Joe Budden feud in July of 2016, 3 young fans had the bad idea of pulling up to Joe Budden's address and start recording themselves trying to troll Budden while he was stepping out of his house. Joe Budden was so angry that he immediately chased them on foot and then caught them in his car and warned them to never try a stunt like that ever again.
It's Joe Budden. It's Joe Budden. Joe Budden. This man's dead ass chasing us, boy. Yo, we're getting chased by Joe Budden, my nigga. Yo, I'm chill. Oh, boy. Boy! Follow me on Twitter, boy. Yo, what the fuck? Yo, back up. That wasn't me, bro. Lock the door. Go. Yo, back up. Yo, don't. I'm trying to make.
Sir, yo. Sir, that wasn't me.
Yo, back up.
That wasn't me. I'm sorry.
Back up.
Block again. I'm gonna kill one of you little niggas. All right, I'm sorry. Sir, I'm sorry.
Yo, chill.
Sir, I'm sorry for them. I'm sorry.
Oh.
I'm sorry. You got. That wasn't me. I wasn't. Okay, I'm sorry.
I keep seeing you tweet. Come on this block again, and I'm gonna hurt one of you niggas.
Okay, I'm sorry.
This
I'm
is
sorry.
not the internet.
I'm sorry.
I will kill one of you.
I understand. I'm sorry. I apologize for everything.
Do you hear the words I'm saying?
Yes, I understand.
Ah, I got you.
I'm sorry.
Follow me on Twitter, though, all right?
Stop, bro.
I recorded him saying that. But he's
Bro,
gonna kill
is
him.
my window broken? Bro, Siobhan? Is my window broken? Siobhan? Bro, is my window...
I keep saying these little internet games gonna get one of you niggas killed. Yep. I know. If you come on this fucking block again, I'm gonna kill one of you little niggas. You hear me? I'm sorry. And you still got a phone out?
No, I'm sorry.
Come on this block again, and I keep seeing you tweet. Come on this block again, and I'm gonna hurt one of you niggas. This is not the internet. I will kill one of you.
Then finally, in October of 2023, after many years of leaving each other alone for the most part, Joe Budden and Drake were back beefing again after the Toronto rapper responded to some of Joe Budden's constructive criticisms of the current Drake album of that moment, For All the Dogs. Joe Budden encouraged Drake to start addressing some more mature age-appropriate topics, but Budden's opinion that Drake needs to start making adult music lit a fire under Drake, who started blasting the podcaster under a DJ Academic's Instagram post with a lengthy rant. You have failed at music. You left it behind to do what you're doing in this clip, because this is what actually pays your bills. For any artist watching this, just remember you are watching a failure give their opinion on his idea of a recipe for success. This is a man projecting his own self-hate and the fact I did and continue to do everything he wanted to do for himself. Joe Budden had a simple response to Drake's disdain for him. You'll grow up sooner or later. Father Time is undefeated. In August of 2024, rapper and producer JPEGMAFIA made it clear that he didn't like Drake. On the song It's Dark and Hell is Hot from JPEGMAFIA's project I Lay Down My Life For You, he refers to Kendrick Lamar's allegation that Drake might be a PDF. Private school rappers don't know what it is. If I show you a Drake, I ain't playing with kids. Then on the very next JPEGMAFIA song, he kept the Drake disses coming on New Black History, where he spits, when I come around, better stare at the floor, cause I'm in that mode. On my own, I got that flavor, Jonathan Major, especially when y'all cashing out for PDFs and rapists, no drizzy. JPEGMAFIA took to X after his lyrics were gaining attention to double down on his disrespect for Drake. First off, I've been dissing that dude since 2016. Them things was throwaway bars, not noteworthy. Second off, if anybody got a problem with what I said on this album, my tour date's in bio. Third, y'all can't even pay your rent but defending Drake for free. Go outside and be somebody. Even back in 2018, JPEGMAFIA was discussing why he was dissing Drake when he spoke to Billboard. I've been randomly dissing Drake for like 5 years. I don't know why. I guess because Drake, it's kind of, you know what? I thought before, I don't actually have a problem with Drake. I really don't hate him. I guess it's my effed up, trolly internet way of paying homage to him and just paying homage to how big he actually is. He's so big that, yeah, I have been dissing him for 5 years. Just because, like, he's big as hell. He's like the Omni King or some ish like that. He's just ever present. So much so that every single person has an opinion on Scorpion, whether it's like bad or good. How did Ye, formerly known as Kanye West, and Drake, two of the biggest rappers in the entire world, become enemies of one another? The tension seemed to have revved up in 2018 when Pusha T started going at Drake on his Daytona album produced by Ye, and Ye was handling the production for 5 monthly albums by artists on his Good Music roster, including himself at the time. All the while, Drake was gearing up to release his album Scorpion. These album rollouts became dominated by Pusha T and Drake disses going back and forth. Things got worse in December of 2018 between Drake and Ye, when Ye sent out a series of tweets where he called out Drake for what he considered to be sneak disses on Travis Scott's Sicko Mode. He followed up and urged him to apologize. Ye alleged that Drake had threatened his life and the safety of Ye's family. The following day, his then-wife Kim Kardashian defended Ye and told Drake to put an end to the threats against her family. The awkwardness between Ye and Drake has continued over the years, and on November 4th, 2022, Drake released Circo Loco on his collaborative album Her Loss with 21 Savage, where Drake seems to be rapping about Ye once again. Linking with the ops itch, I did that ish for Jay Prince. I did it for the mob ties. This refers back to the Free Larry Hoover benefit concert that Drake and Ye shared the stage for. Ye responded to the lyric with a tweet, "Enough already, I done gave this man his flowers multiple times. Let's really see who real ops are in this music. Imagine all the rappers on the game, same side, and everybody cleaning up each other's contracts. It's kingdom time, love Drake, love speech." Drake released Search and Rescue on April 7, 2023, where he used a piece of a conversation between Ye's ex-wife, Kim Kardashian, discussing her divorce from Ye with her mother, Kris Jenner, taken from an episode of the reality show Keeping Up with the Kardashians. "I didn't come this far, just to come this far and not be happy." With the November 17, 2023 release of Drake's song Red Button as part of his project For All the Dogs Scary Hours edition, Drake called out Ye for being fake when apologizing about their on-again and off-again conflicts. And on April 19th, 2024, Ye apparently made a play to have his name attached to the trending topic of the Kendrick Lamar and Drake feud by remixing the Metro Boomin and Future song that features Kendrick Lamar dissing J. Cole and Drake. In 2024, the championship of rap battles took place between Canadian rapper Drake and American rapper Kendrick Lamar, which officially popped off on March 22nd, 2024, the release date of the song Like That by Future, Metro, and Kendrick Lamar. But those in the know can trace the verbal conflict between Drake and Kendrick Lamar back over a decade earlier to at least 2013. This would be when Kendrick Lamar dissed Drake and many other rappers at the time on Big Sean's Control, but claimed that his verse was just friendly competition, because his lyrics were about not looking to make friends with other rappers, but instead murder them lyrically and be the best. But Drake was offended by Kendrick's Control verse and didn't take it as just being in the competitive spirit. In an interview with Billboard 2 weeks after the song's release, Drake dismissed Kendrick Lamar's verse, stating, "It just sounded like an ambitious thought to me. That's all it was. I know good and well that Lamar's not murdering me at all in any platform." That same year in 2013, when Drake released his third studio album, Nothing Was the Same, the general consensus was that Drake's first verse on the song The Language, the album's fifth single, was a response to Kendrick Lamar's Control verse, and apparently Kendrick thought so too. The following month, in October of 2013, during the 2013 BET Hip Hop Awards' fifth rap cypher, Kendrick Lamar would rap, "Nothing's been the same since they dropped Control," and tucked the sensitive rapper back in his pajama clothes. Even President Barack Obama was asked to pick a side between Drake and Kendrick on January 15th, 2016, when he sat down for a series of interviews by YouTube influencers. Swoozy asked Obama who he would pick to win a rap battle, Drake or Kendrick Lamar, and Obama responded, "Gotta go with Kendrick. I think Drake is an outstanding entertainer, but Kendrick, his lyrics, To Pimp a Butterfly, was outstanding. Best album, I think, last year." Then, 15 days after that, Drake released Summer 16, dissing Obama's decision. "Tell Obama that my verses are just like the whips that he in. They bulletproof." On March 23rd, 2017, Kendrick Lamar released The Heart Part 4, which many perceived to be a diss track towards either Big Sean or Drake. Kendrick Lamar would later reference lines from The Heart Part 4 in his 2024 Drake diss, Euphoria, which seems to be Kendrick's way of confirming that The Heart Part 4 was indeed meant for Drake. In October of 2023, Drake's song First Person Shooter that features J. Cole had Cole's now famous line that suggested that he, Drake, and Kendrick were part of the Big Three, greatest rappers of their era, and bringing himself up as the best of the three. But Kendrick decided to answer back on March 22nd, 2024 on the song Like That, dissing Cole and Drake while rhyming, "Mother F the Big Three, it's just Big Me." This diss prompted Cole to release a response song for Damage Control called 7 Minute Drill, in which he criticized Kendrick's classic album To Pimp a Butterfly, but just days later, J. Cole publicly apologized on stage for releasing the song and dissing Kendrick Lamar, and he removed it from streaming services and removed himself from the brewing conflict with Kendrick Lamar and Drake as well. On April 13, 2024, early versions of Drake's Kendrick Lamar diss Push-Ups were leaked online, which was Drake's response to Kendrick Lamar's verse on Like That. In the song, Drake claims that multiple artists are better than Kendrick, including 21 Savage, Travis Scott, and SZA. And if that wasn't enough, Drake also dismissed several people for siding against him after Kendrick's verse came out, including Metro, Future, The Weeknd, and Rick Ross. On April 19th, 2024, the same day as the official release of Push-Ups, Drake also released Tailor-Made Freestyle, another diss targeted at Kendrick that featured AI-generated vocals imitating the famous West Coast rappers Tupac Shakur and Snoop Dogg, but Shakur's estate wasn't happy about Drake using AI technology to pull Tupac into his beef with Kendrick, who they also stated was a friend of the estate. Drake accused Kendrick of not responding to his diss song Push-Ups because he assumed that Kendrick didn't want to stop Taylor Swift's new album, The Tortured Poets Department, from charting higher. This also comes after Drake criticized Kendrick for collaborating with Taylor and other pop artists. This explains the name of Drake's Kendrick diss, Taylor Made Freestyle, that was subsequently taken down by Drake on April 26, 2024. 4 days later, on April 30th, 2024, Kendrick had a surprise for Drake, the release of a diss track named Euphoria, with that name coming from the title of the TV show Euphoria, which Drake serves as an executive producer for. Kendrick expressed his hatred for Drake's parenting, saying, "I got a son to raise, but I can see you know nothing about that." Kendrick also claimed that Drake's abs were fabricated through plastic surgery. And on May 3rd, 2024, 3 days after Euphoria, Kendrick posted an Instagram reel captioned 616 in LA, which constrained yet another Drake diss, similar to how Drake released Taylor Made Freestyle, with the title being a parody of Drake's timestamp city songs like 8 AM in Charlotte. The track also happened to be produced by Taylor Swift's usual producer, Jack Antonoff, which can be seen as Kendrick referencing Drake's comments on Taylor Made Freestyle. That same evening, Drake put out Family Matters as a response to Euphoria and 616 in LA, where Drake alleges that one of Kendrick's children may be biologically from Dave Free, Kendrick's friend and PG Lang label co-founder, like we spoke on earlier. Drake also claimed Kendrick's a domestic abuser and unfaithful in his relationship with his fiancée, Whitney Alford. This track is also taking aim at A$AP Rocky and Metro Boomin, who collaborated with Future on the April 12, 2024 Drake diss Show of Hands. It only took 20 minutes after the release of Family Matters for Kendrick Lamar to release another diss track aimed at Drake called Meet the Grams, produced by The Alchemist. This time around, Kendrick Lamar speaks directly to members of Drake's family, pointing out their dysfunctions. Kendrick also tried to promote the narrative that Drake was hiding a second child, a daughter, that Drake is attracted to minors, and that he is running a trafficking ring out of his mansion. Drake responded to Kendrick Lamar on Instagram, "Nah, hold on. Can someone find my hidden daughter, please, and send her to me? These guys are in shambles." This statement was followed by multiple laughing emojis. Then on May 4, 2024, Kendrick Lamar released what would be his magnum opus Drake diss song, the one that turned into an international viral sensation, Not Like Us, produced by Mustard. In the track, Kendrick referred to Drake and members of his inner circle as PDFs and warns Drake that using an AI version of Tupac's voice would bring Drake disrespect in the coast that Tupac is associated with. Also, the cover art for Not Like Us is a satellite image of Drake's mansion labeled with pins representing predators being on the property. On May 5, 2024, Drake released The Heart Part 6, the title referring to Kendrick Lamar's The Heart series, picking up after The Heart Part 5. Drake uses the song to deny the grooming allegations made against him and alleges that his own inner circle fed Kendrick Lamar false information about having an 11-year-old daughter, which Kendrick Lamar supposedly used in Meet the Grams. Then there was the June 2024 event that would lead to Drake falling out with famous friends like NBA basketball players LeBron and DeMar DeRozan, Kendrick Lamar's one-off concert at the Kia Forum in Inglewood, California, titled The Pop-Out, Ken and Friends. The title of the event, The Pop-Out, is a reference to a lyric from Not Like Us. Sometimes you just gotta pop out and show 'em. The concert was scheduled for the Juneteenth holiday, with Kendrick opening his part of the show with his Drake diss Euphoria, containing new updated lyrics aimed at Drake being in possession of Tupac Shakur's crown ring. Ab-Soul accompanied Kendrick for the first performance of 616 in LA. Kendrick also performed his verse on Like That for the very first time, and then he invited Compton legend Dr. Dre to hit the stage, and they performed Dre's classic Still DRE and California Love. Dr. Dre even performed the intro to Not Like Us, the song that Kendrick performed 6 times while dancing on stage with associates and also members of many LA street gangs that included different sets of Crips and Bloods. While Not Like Us continued to blow up all over the world, the official music video was released on July 4th, 2024, in celebration of American Independence Day, and was set in Kendrick's hometown of Compton, California. By the morning after its release, the video for Not Like Us had surpassed 13 million views on YouTube. And Not Like Us was nominated in 5 different categories at the Grammy Awards, and won every single one of them. Kendrick Lamar was also selected to be the headlining performer for the 2025 halftime show at the Caesars Superdome in New Orleans. And during the performance, Kendrick performed Euphoria and Not Like Us, with Kendrick looking directly into the camera when he rapped, "Say Drake, I hear you like 'em young." Kendrick Lamar censored the word PDF in his performance, but that didn't prevent the audience from shouting the lyric, trying to strike a chord in his probably A minor. Kendrick Lamar's widely watched Super Bowl performance also featured cameos from actor Samuel L. Jackson, dressed up as Uncle Sam, and 2 of Drake's ex-girlfriends, SZA and Serena Williams. According to Ye's close friend and steady collaborator, the Queens rapper Consequence, Kid Cudi has allegedly been anti-Drake going all the way back to 2009, when Drake came to Ye's birthday party at a restaurant in New York City shortly after the Good Music mogul was commissioned to work on Drake's Best I Ever Had music video. In an interview with The Art of Dialogue, Consequence said he was seated at the dining table right between Drake and Kid Cudi, and that Cudi kept making disparaging remarks about Drake.
Drake is like, yo, man, it's just a pleasure to be around y'all, and you know what I'm saying, I appreciate y'all embracing me, and yo, you know, I grew up, I'm obviously watching all your videos and da-da-da-da-da, it's like a dream come true, right? Cudi right here like, man, fuck that nigga, that nigga's pussy, yo. Why he even here, man? This nigga, man, fuck wrong with this nigga, man? Like, get this nigga the fuck out of here, he's so fucking corny. I'm like, there's been animosity, envy for years, you know what I'm saying? When I seen Cudi and Drake in the pursuit of happiness, I was just like, I mean, what I'm gonna do, call Drake and be like, yo, you know he don't really fuck with you like that.
Drake and Kid Cudi have had many issues arise between each other, and tensions between the pair first emerged in 2016 when Cudi called out Drake directly on Twitter and accused him of being fake. I am the culture. I keep silent because I don't ever want to come off like some angry hater, but today, not only do I feel fantastic, I'm feeling like taking over. I already have my tweets applied to who they apply. Ye, Drake, whoever. These guys don't give a F about me, and they ain't effing with me. Keep you close when they see how powerful you are by yourself, when they see your greatness, out of fear. Drake jumped in the studio and recorded his retaliation record called Two Birds, One Stone, where he clowned Kid Cudi's mental health, particularly his battle with depression that led to going into rehab. Kid Cudi came back at Drake on Twitter saying, "Say it to my face. You think it's a game. I want to see you say it to my face. I'll be out soon. Promise." Then the two seemed to have mended their problems in 2021 when they released their first collaboration on Drake's Certified Lover Boy song, I Am Y2, or I Miss You Too. Interestingly enough, Kid Cudi and Drake both had issues with Ye at the time, which could have helped them see each other as allies. But after Drake and Ye reunited for their Free Larry Hoover benefit concert later that year, Kid Cudi made some comments in an interview with Esquire that seemed like he might still be harboring some negative feelings towards Drake. With all due respect, I'm not Drake, who's about to take a picture with him next week and be friends again, and their beef is squashed. That's not me. What I say, I mean. I will be done with you. It's going to take a mother effing miracle for me and that man to be friends again. I don't see it happening. He gonna have to become a monk. Kid Cudi did clarify on Twitter that he didn't intend to disrespect Drake and that his comments were really about his own frustrations with Ye. Just to be clear, I wasn't trying to throw a shot at Drake. I got love for him. My point I was trying to make is that I'm not so forgiving, meaning he might be a little nicer than me in that situation with dude. That's all. Maybe that came off wrong through my words. So yeah, all good with Drake. With this much up and down happening between the two rapper-singers, Kid Cudi appears to have been viewed as a Drake op more often than not. Radio personality Kurt Alexander, better known as Big Boy, found his name on the large list of Drake ops, most likely because of his almost hour-long episode called Big Boy TV Documentary featuring Kendrick Lamar that was posted on YouTube on July 5th, 2024. This piece addressed topics such as celebrity reactions to the Kendrick and Drake battle, Kendrick's pop-out concert, the West Coast winning again, past interviews with Kendrick Lamar, Not Like Us, and also a Kendrick freestyle. The relationship between LeBron James and Drake dates back to 2009 when LeBron, who was already a star player, showed up to Drake's Toronto So Far Gone mixtape release party in February of 2009 during the beginning of Drake's glow-up to show support. The two superstars also attended special occasions with one another's families over the years, exchanged friendship texts. Drake would attend LeBron's son's high school basketball games, and the two also co-produced a documentary about the famous Toronto Raptors basketball star Vince Carter together. So when Drake dropped Fightin' Irish freestyle in 2025, word began traveling fast that Drake seemed to be calling out the NBA star and that Drake's friend LeBron James might have turned into a foe. First off, the song's title, Fighting Irish, is the name of LeBron's high school mascot, and there are also lines that seem to refer to Drake being disappointed in LeBron James, and for that matter, NBA player DEMAR DEROZAN as well. Two guys Drake looked at as extended family until they both attended Kendrick Lamar's The Pop-Out show and sang along while Kendrick performed his Drake diss Not Like Us. On Fighting Irish freestyle, Drake raps, "The world fell in love with the gimmicks. Even my brothers got tickets. Seemed like they loved every minute. Just know this ish is personal to us, and it wasn't just business." To make things messier between Drake and LeBron James, streamer DJ Academics even took it upon himself to call out LeBron James on Drake's behalf by making the allegation that Drake helped LeBron cheat on his wife Savannah James in the past and questioned why the NBA player would turn on Drake. Lil Yachty was once a close friend with Drake, and he may still be, but he's since said that he wishes he never addressed the viral feud between Drake and Kendrick Lamar, which has managed to make Drake pull away. Reflecting on the situation during an appearance on the Flagrant podcast with Andrew Schultz, Yachty explained that nothing good came from speaking on it. While he didn't elaborate on his feelings, he previously discussed the beef during an episode of his own podcast, A Safe Place.
Drake was deemed a loser in this battle before it started because people don't like him and haven't, and he's won for a very long time. And he's sat at the top of the throne, and still, honestly, respectfully, I think he still sits at the top of the throne. I think that even if opinionated masses would say that Kendrick won, I don't think that, you know, people are going to stop listening to Drake, and like Drake's career is going to like flush, you know. But I said to Drake, I told him, I feel like it, like I don't feel like you won or lost, you know. I don't feel like rappers have lost and then lost everything. Like I think Drake will still be in everyone's Wrapped Spotify at the end of the year, at the top. I think he could still drop hits and it will still hit Control the Summer. I think that Kendrick made very smart moves, you know, and I don't think Drake would disagree.
Megan Thee Stallion has been at odds with Drake's quite a bit during 2024. In fact, some wonder if she lit the fuse that exploded into the multi-artist attack against Drake that erupted afterwards. Megan Thee Stallion's diss song Hiss was released on January 26, 2024, several months before Future, Metro Boomin, A$AP Rocky, and Kendrick were hurling verbal jabs at Drake. Hiss initially got people talking due to Megan addressing Nicki Minaj, Tory Lanez, and Megan's ex-boyfriend, rapper and songwriter Pardison Fontaine. But fans also started pointing out lines that seemed to mock Drake's alleged plastic surgery and fake accents when she raps, "All these little rap dudes so fraud, Xanax be they hard as bars. These guys hate on BBLs and walking around with the same scars. Cosplay gangsters, fake-ass accents, posted in another man hood like a bad bee. Where you from?" Those lyrics from Hiss took on a whole new life when Kendrick Lamar made similar accusations months later against Drake in Meet the Grams, where he raps, "Cause you lied about religious views, you lied about your surgery, you lied about your accent, and your past tense all is perjury." The beef between Megan Thee Stallion and Drake also was apparent with Drake's support of Tory Lanez, who was convicted to 10 years in prison for shooting Megan in the foot in 2020. Drake made light of the situation on his Her Loss track Circo Loco with the lyrics, "This chick lie about getting shots, but she's still a stallion. She don't even get the joke, but she's still smiling." After a long storied history of Atlanta producer Metro Boomin and Drake putting in work together, such as Metro producing the bulk of the beats on Drake and Future's joint mixtape in 2015, What a Time to Be Alive, Metro Boomin has since been considered a music industry enemy of Drake. In December of 2023, Metro Boomin complained about award shows showing more love to Drake's Her Loss album with 21 Savage than his Heroes and Villains. Yet Her Loss still keeps winning Rap Album of the Year over Heroes and Villains. Proof that award shows are just politics and not for me. I don't care about awards, honestly. The true award and reward is knowing that the music I spent so much time on brings joy to people's everyday lives. After tweeting then deleting the shade thrown against Drake's album, Metro Boomin seemed to catch some subliminal messages from Drake during a live stream on Kick when Drake stated,
To the rest of you, the non-believers, the underachievers, the tweet and deleters, you guys make me sick to my stomachs, fam.
Drake also unfollowed Metro Boomin on Instagram to take even further distance from the producer, but the animosity only increased further when Metro's beat was used by Kendrick Lamar for a Drake diss called Like That was from Metro and Future's 2024 album We Don't Trust You, sparking the historic Drake and Kendrick Lamar rap battle. When Drake released his diss record Push-Ups, it wasn't just for Kendrick Lamar. He had some words for Metro Boomin too, who he told to shut up and go make some drums. Metro Boomin hit back with the song BBL Drizzy and was making fun of Drake's plastic surgery rumors by using samples from a track made by comedian King Wallonius using artificial intelligence. Drake attempted to turn the tables around in his favor with his feature on Sexy Red's You My Everything, where Drake responds to Metro Boomin's BBL Drizzy by saying, "Why you love me still a mystery, me and the surgeon got history. I change a lot of girls' lives for real, they need a new body, they hitting me, ayy. BBL Drizzy, they want a new body, they asked me for it. The last one, Jung-E did it for free cause I sent so many past ones for him." Fresh and Fit Podcast is a show hosted by Amru Fuddle, who's also known as Myron Gaines, or Fit, who has been a prominent figure when it comes to speaking out about issues involving masculinity and intergender dynamics. He started working on the podcast full-time after 6 years as a special agent with the Department of Homeland Security. Myron Gaines went on to share the reasons why he believes he was considered one of Drake's ops on his X account on December 10th, 2024. "It seems I'm on Drake's op list. This is the tweet that got me on the list. Drake is one of the primary reasons we have a generation of weak men. Drake began to pick up steam around 2007 and has been the dominant force in hip-hop since. What else has happened in that time? We have seen a massive plunge in traditional masculinity, dating, relationships, marriage, and female satisfaction with men. Why? Because we popularized men behaving like women and getting in their feelings, thanks to enormous artists like Drake. The feminization of men has been going on since the 1990s, but Drake is a silent partner in the death of masculinity in the West." When R&B singer OMARION shared a video of his choreography for Kendrick Lamar's Not Like Us on Instagram, it was probably enough of a viral moment to get his name added to 50 Cent's long list of Drake ops, but there doesn't seem to be any real beef between the two because in October of 2024, they jokingly had a 2000s-style dance battle during Drake's 38th birthday party in Houston. In addition to their dance-off, Drake and OMARION performed the So Far Gone collaboration Bria's Interlude, with Drake also saluting OMARION by saying, "This is one of the first people that ever supported me in my career. Shout out to O. Humble beginnings. Thank you for trusting in us, believing in us, and being here." While Drake was getting roasted online during his battle with Kendrick, one celebrity that joined in on the clowning session was the son of rapper and actor Ice Cube, O'Shea Jackson Jr., who made an interesting point about a 2010 GQ photo shoot featuring Drake. The image depicted a younger Drake pointing his finger like a gun at the lens of the camera, with one of his eyes shut as if he was focusing on the target like he was pretending to shoot. O'Shea Jackson Jr. went beyond the typical remarks about the photo looking corny and zeroed in on a mistake that Drake was making with this pose when he asked, "Is he using the wrong eye to aim or am I tripping?" O'Shea Jackson Jr. was proven right by many people on social media that read his remark because Drake had his left eye open and his right eye shut, which means that the way that his head was tilted, he happened to be closing the eye that a real shooter would have needed to have open to see through the scope of their gun. After receiving tens of thousands of likes, retweets, and comments, including from Anthony Top Dog Tiffith, the founder of Kendrick's TDE record label, O'Shea Jackson Jr. earned his spot on the Drake op list. In 2016, Hot 97 radio personality Peter Rosenberg calls out Drake in a series of tweets that read, "Meek Mill's always been realer than you. Your content is meaningless. Drake wouldn't have been the toughest kid in my Hebrew school. Stop. Make hits for the club. Don't try to be hard, please. Ever." Then in 2018, Peter Rosenberg continued to air out his issues with Drake publicly. This time, Rosenberg was bothered by Drake's music video for the song God's Plan, where Drake is shown giving away money to people in Miami.
So I switched over my new iPhone. Second I switched on, second I put in the new SIM card, I got someone texting me going, "Stop pushing end and answer your phone." I answer the phone, and just right away, it sounded like there was a fight at a Tim Hortons. It was just like, because when Drake got mad, I never heard his Canadian accent that strongly until you heard, you know, whenever anyone's from another country.
Drake is yelling at you.
Yes. Drake yelled. He was very passionate. He's very angry and saying, like, I don't understand how I could do something so positive and you could find a way to make it negative. What's your problem with me? He was basically like, enough is enough. Like, what is your problem with me? It's always something. Like, you've always got something. What is your problem with me? Like, how did you make this a negative thing? I did something so positive.
On Friday, June 14, 2024, super producer Pharrell Williams, who has been considered a Drake op, dropped the song Double Life for the Despicable Me 4 movie soundtrack. Oddly enough, this song for an animated movie aimed at children ended up being the platform that Pharrell, an artist that represents peace and love, seemed to use to send some subliminal messages to Drake, who had been dissing Pharrell for a while. In the first verse, Pharrell raps, "Hey, what are you hiding? Watch what you do when you're gone. Nothing wrong being private, make sure it ain't wrong. Your life double-sided, two-faced like coins. What side do I get? What side are you on? Pharrell inherited his beef with Drake due to Pharrell being close friend with Drake's longtime op Pusha T, who many say already beat Drake in their 2018 rap battle. In 2022, Drake purchased multiple Jacob & Co. produced jewelry originally owned by Pharrell, which Drake would later show off in his music video for Jumbotron Ish Poppin'. Drake also threw shots at Pharrell by saying he would melt down the producer's iconic diamond jewels on Travis Scott's song Meltdown. In May of 2024, during the battle against Drake, Kendrick Lamar stood up for Pharrell against Drake on the song Euphoria, with lines like, "I don't like you poppin' ish at Pharrell, for him I inherit the beef." In the Family Matters video, Drake mentions Kendrick showing support for Pharrell and brags about owning Pharrell's classic jewelry collection. "You want to take up Pharrell? Well, come get his legacy out my house." When Drake went on a rapid social media unfollowing spree on October 1st, 2024, cutting ties online with the likes of Kendrick, LeBron, DEMAR DeRozan, Joe Budden, Rick Ross, and more, guess whose name was among these? Playboi Carti. Being that these two have made music together, why did Drake start looking at Playboi Carti sideways? First of all, it appears that either Playboi Carti had a change of heart about having his appearance cleared for Drake's song No Face, or Drake himself decided to remove Playboy's voice because when No Face was released on streaming platforms, it no longer featured Carti as it did when it was part of the 100 gig leak of digital material Drake previously shared online. But which song did Playboi Carti definitely have no trouble appearing on? The answer is Timeless by The Weeknd, a longtime Drake op. Then there's Kendrick Lamar's close friend HITTA J3, who shared a video of himself FaceTiming with Playboi Carti, proving that he had a relationship with the rapper, who he also claimed was going to be coming to HITTA J3's neighborhood in Compton to shoot a music video for the song All Red. Drake kicked off October 2024 by unfollowing LeBron, Carti, Joe Budden, and DeMar DeRozan, but strangely enough, reports showed that Drake was still following the disgraced former producer, Sean Diddy Combs, who Drake didn't unfollow until later, even after Diddy was caught up in controversies over human trafficking and now facing charges. But aside from Diddy's legal troubles, it's still odd that Drake was even following Diddy at all due to their complicated history over the years. Drake and Diddy's drama dates back to 2014 when Diddy accused Drake of stealing the beat for Drake's song 0 to 100, The Catch-Up. This led to a heated altercation outside a Live nightclub during Art Basel in Miami at DJ Khaled's birthday celebration. As reported by the Miami New Times, Diddy and Drake's disagreement escalated into a full-on physical confrontation, with Diddy reportedly saying that he won't be disrespected by Drake and then punching the Canadian rapper right then and there. But Diddy later downplayed the incident by telling The Breakfast Club, "I did not put hands on Drake, and I do not want any problems with Drake. Drake is my friend." Then there's an interview with Compton rapper The Game that resurfaced where it was suggested that Diddy may have put out a hit on Drake back in 2014. The Game made the claim that he warned Drake about Diddy's alleged intentions in an attempt to protect him. In June of 2016, Drake took lyrical shots at Diddy on his song 4 p.m. in Calabasas, where he purposely borrows Diddy's flow and delivers subliminal taunts. Also, when Diddy was arrested in September of 2024, Drake reportedly used his Instagram burner account to share a few memes from the 2015 film The Big Short. In the scene, Ryan Gosling's character says,
"Unfortunately, it's in a place like this, which I would never be. I never hung out with these idiots after work, ever. I had fashion friends."
In 2018, Drake and Pusha T's rap feud really took off when Pusha accused Drake of using a ghostwriter, taunted Drake on Pusha's Ye-produced song Infrared, and this led to exchange of disses, with Drake dropping Duppy Freestyle, where Drake called out Pusha's then-fiancée Virginia Williams, and Pusha T retaliated, and the mentions of family business got deeper. Pusha went on to reveal to the world that Drake had a secret son named Adonis when Pusha T released a Drake diss, The Story of ADIDAS, that sampled Jay-Z's The Story of OJ and used a picture of Drake in blackface makeup as the song's cover art. Reportedly, Drake was advised by his mentor Jay Prince, the head of Rap-A-Lot Records, to not go any further in the beef with Pusha T, with some taking this as Drake waving the white flag and quitting. Drake's eventual response to the revelation of having a son came on his album Scorpion, when Drake came back at Pusha T with, "I wasn't hiding my kid from the world, I was hiding the world from my kid. From empty souls who just wake up and look to debate. Until you staring at your seed, you could never relate." In terms of public perception, Pusha T was widely praised as the winner, particularly for exposing Drake's secret, while some fans were turned off when Pusha T made light of Drake's friend and producer 40 suffering from multiple sclerosis, also MS, accusing Pusha of going too far. But Pusha T fans felt that Drake shouldn't have called out the name of Pusha's significant other either, and that Drake may have got what was coming to him. Since their feud in 2018, Pusha and Drake have not re-engaged in a swapping of direct diss tracks. In 2019, Drake told Rap Radar that he had no desire to ever make peace with Pusha T, who also seemed to share the same opinion. In a 2022 interview on Drink Champs, Pusha T explained that after his 2018 show in Toronto was shut down early after Drake fans threw objects at Pusha while he was on stage, Drake may be the reason why Pusha T was informed that he won't be booking shows in Drake's country anytime soon, and that he doesn't care about having crossed any lines of decency with Drake in the battle, adding,
I'm banned from Canada. I don't care. I don't care. There is no too far. I don't play like that. That's why you don't play with me.
Right.
That's why you don't play with me.
Right.
There is no too far.
Right.
It's not.
Right.
Forever.
Is there any
Leave
time?
it alone.
Is there
Leave
any
me
time-
be. Leave me be, because there's no too far.
After Drake and Rihanna spent years collaborating together on songs like What's My Name in 2010, Take Care in 2012, and Work in 2016, and fueling speculation of a relationship outside of the studio, in a 2018 profile for Vogue, Rihanna made it clear that they weren't even friends any longer. This is after Drake wrote songs like Fireworks about his feelings for Rihanna, getting into a physical clash with her ex-boyfriend Chris Brown, and professing his love for her on stage while presenting her the Video Vanguard Award at the 2016 MTV Video Music Awards. But Rihanna moved out of the Drake orbit and got romantically involved with another Drake op, A$AP Rocky, with whom she has 2 kids. This clearly made Drake feel a way because with the release of Drake's For All the Dogs album, he threw some salt on their relationship on songs such as Another Late Night, Fear of Heights, and Virginia Beach. On Another Late Night, Drake puts A$AP Rocky's alias Pretty Flacco into the mix when he rapped, I ain't Pretty Flacco, itch, this ish get really rocky. In the introduction to Fear of Heights, Drake repeatedly says the name of Rihanna's album, Anti. Then, after complaining about people thinking he's still hung up on Rihanna, he appears to talk down on Rocky by rapping, that man, he's still with you, he can't leave you. Y'all go on vacation, I bet it's Antilles. This could be a nod to Rihanna's home country of Barbados, which is near the Lesser Antilles in the Caribbean, where she's also vacationed several times. Then on Virginia Beach, Drake seems to be talking about Rihanna and A$AP Rocky's relationship once again when he says, drawing conclusions like you got a Parsons degree or something. I could have treated you better. That's crazy. It just so happens that Rihanna has an honorary degree from Parsons School of Design. One of Drake's most surprising feuds to turn into a foe during the Kendrick rift was Rick Ross. Since they first appeared on a song together in 2009 as featured artists on DJ Khaled's Fed Up, they've gone on to collaborate at least 15 more times, including on big tracks like Lemon Pepper Freestyle, Money in the Grave, and I'm On One. They did go through a brief clash in the past between 2015 and 2017 during another of Drake's famous rap battles, the one with Meek Mill, who was signed to Rick Ross's label, but Drake and Rick Ross were able to reconcile in 2017. But the tension heated up when a leaked Drake diss track that also went at longtime rival Kendrick Lamar, among others, sparked a back-and-forth exchange with Rick Ross and Drake. In the midst of these jabs, Rick Ross accused Drake of getting a nose job and labeled him BBL Drizzy. Drake dropped push-ups, dropping Give Me 50 where he dissed Rick Ross, The Weeknd, Future, and Kendrick Lamar. Drake took shots at Ross after he reportedly unfollowed him on Instagram, making fun of Ross's age and accusing him of only being able to get a hit song on the charts when Drake is involved. Rick Ross got at Drake quickly with his own diss track, Champagne Moments, in which he accused Drake of getting cosmetic procedures and using ghostwriters, while sampling a clip of Drake stating that Rick Ross is his favorite person to rap with on any song. Drake then shared a screenshot of text messages with his mother on his Instagram story where they joked about the nose job gossip, and Drake called Rick Ross angry and racist, stating that Mounjaro, diabetes drug that also gets used for weight loss, must be making Rick Ross loopy. The Rockefeller Records empire of the late 90s and 2000s led to an infamous split between two of its most famous founders, Jay-Z and Dame Dash, who haven't been on good terms for the past several decades. As Jay-Z was pulling the strings to get Kendrick Lamar to perform at the 2025 NFL Super Bowl halftime show, while Drake was going at it with Kendrick on records, Dame Dash seemed to find a way to side with Drake, while friend-turned-foe Jay-Z was backing Kendrick. During an interview as part of an exclusive American New broadcast, Dame Dash shared some details about Drake, who attempted to purchase Dame Dash's 1/3 share in Rockefeller Records.
Through DM and made an offer, and I'm not quite sure what happened, but I thought that he had got with Jay or something, but I don't know. There's never been a battle rap where, you know, the record becomes a hit, puts another artist in a very uncomfortable position, pause, and then they get to perform it at the Super Bowl. That's ill. And, you know, I'm thinking like, what would I do if I was Drake? And I'd be like, well, a big W would be to come to the Super Bowl with one of these Rockefeller chains. But if you got it, you know, I wouldn't do it if you don't got it. But, you know, if you want to own Reasonable Doubt, if you want to own a third of it, have a say at the board meetings for at least the next 7 years and make money off of it, I would get these chains.
The reason for Dame Dash needing to auction off his 1/3 stake in Rockefeller Records stemmed from Dash losing a lawsuit to director Josh Weber that resulted in Dash having to roughly pay about $800,000 in the judgment, as well as some IRS issues he's had in the past as well. But when it was all said and done, Drake didn't end up making the Rockefeller purchase. The artist Roddy Ricch, straight out of Compton, just like Drake's nemesis Kendrick Lamar, found himself getting stuck in the Drake op category after appearing at Kendrick's pop-out Ken and Friends show during the intense battle between Kendrick and Drake. Unfortunately, Roddy Ricch ended up having some issues when he was trying to get into Vancouver, British Columbia to do a show in Canada, the same city that Rick Ross, another Drake enemy, was attacked in. In an Instagram story, Roddy Ricch revealed that the Border Patrol would not let him enter, also stating that he has been harassed every time he has attempted to come to Canada. This led to Roddy Ricch saying that he's done with trying to come back to the country altogether, at least for the time being. Oddly enough, back in 2020, it was actually Drake that helped Roddy Ricch get into Canada, but fans have theorized that Drake might have pulled some strings to block Roddy's entry in 2024. On the new Rory and Mal podcast, co-host Mal was getting labeled OVO Mal during the Kendrick Lamar and Drake battle because Mal appeared to many viewers that he was biased in favor of Drake. When Mal questioned Rory about if he really believed that Kendrick Lamar was winning the battle after the release of Not Like Us, Rory's response may have gotten his name added to the Drake op list when he made his case as to why Kendrick was winning.
In totality, yes, I could think that Family Matters is the best one, but through this whole week, Kendrick has put out better music and more effective music. Mal, if Drake had an anthem through the weekend calling Kendrick Lamar a pedophile and everyone was two-stepping to it, you would say it was the greatest thing on earth. Look what Drake did. He made everyone dance to you being a pedophile. You can't even walk outside because anytime we're at a party, someone's going to play a song that's about you being a pedophile and we're going to sing along to it. You would say if Drake did that to Kendrick, that would be the greatest diss shit ever. You would say that.
NBA star Russell Westbrook joined DeMar DeRozan, another basketball op of Drake, on stage while Kendrick performed his hit Drake diss Not Like Us 6 times in a row at Kendrick's The Pop-Out Show, with Lakers star LeBron James in the crowd as well. Both Russell Westbrook and DeMar DeRozan are both California natives like Kendrick, and Russell Westbrook also had a situation during an NBA game against the Toronto Raptors where he yelled at Drake's associate, Top 5. Ryan Nice is another social media account that found his name on the Drake op list. Operating under the X handle Ryan Nice, he's had a pretty steady history of openly criticizing Drake with remarks such as, "Most Def said Drake wasn't hip-hop," and Drake's response to that was to follow his freshly 18-year-old daughter. Drake the first dude to ever get the last word in an argument and still lose. Never forget when Drake messaged Anthony Fantano because he said honestly Nevermind was not good. Drake sipping lean in front of his kid, what a great role model. The famous actor we once knew is certainly paranoid and spiraling. So let me get this straight. Drake is balding, talking about other people, insulting athletes courtside because they in a music video, threatening violence to streamers because they like K-Dot, attempting to sue a label over a diss record, but he's unbothered? Schoolboy Q's loyalty to friend and former TDE label mate Kendrick Lamar was always going to guarantee him a spot on the Drake op list, and it seems Drake pushed his weight around when Schoolboy tried to perform in Toronto. On Thursday, July 18, 2024, while the Drake and Kendrick beef was still cooking, Schoolboy Q was scheduled to perform at History, a music venue co-owned by Drake and Live Nation in Drake's city of Toronto, but Schoolboy Q announced the day before that he had been blocked from moving forward with these plans, stating the show was cancelled and that the Canadian police didn't want any TDE artists to perform. Hours later, Drake uploaded a selfie to Instagram with himself wearing blue slides, which appeared to be a reference to Schoolboy Q's recent song by the same name. Another interesting detail in that picture was that Drake was wearing a free Yayo t-shirt, the same as the one that Eminem wore at the 2003 Grammy Awards while the G-Unit rapper was locked up. Drake was probably saluting Tony Yayo because a month prior, Yayo gave an interview warning Drake's enemies that they should avoid traveling to Canada. Along with addressing the cancellation of his Toronto show, which he blames on the Kendrick and Drake rivalry, Schoolboy Q also added a warning to OVO on social media. If we wanted to get y'all, we would have just did it. Now when somebody get hurt, don't cry. The rapper and YouTuber Screwface Jean, originally from Nebraska, was one of many name dropped in the federal defamation lawsuit that Drake was trying to take Universal Music Group to court with. In the federal defamation lawsuit, Drake accused UMG of paying off Screwface Jean and other internet personalities for the content that they created that promoted Kendrick Lamar's hit Not Like Us. Screwface Jean decided to strike back at Drake musically with a diss track called Op List, where he humorously used 50 Cent holding up the Drake Op List on Big Boy's radio show as the cover art. Some of Screwface Jean's lyrics going at Drake on Op List include, "Stupid as ish, gotta watch what I react to cause they be suing," and ish. "Dude is a trip, putting people in some paperwork over some music," and ish. "I thought it was free slime, and no one should be in court over some musical ish." Back in 2011, it had been reported that Serena and Drake dated, even though they never officially confirmed that there was any romantic involvement. Drake was seen several times attending Serena Williams' tennis matches at the time. Then in 2015, the Serena Williams and Drake dating rumors heated back up when they were seen getting cozy and pictures of the two sharing a kiss began to surface. The truth about their relationship may have been kept on the low, but that didn't stop Drake from name-dropping Serena Williams in his songs, like in his 2013 song Worst Behavior, where he sings, "I'm with my whole set, tennis matches at the crib, I swear I could beat Serena when she playing with her left." Drake and the rapper Common even got into a lyrical back and forth, due partially to Common having dated Serena Williams between 2007 and 2010, and Drake's rumored relationship with Serena taking place between 2011 and 2015. Common discussed his issues with Drake that pushed him to diss Drake with his song Sweet. At that time, I think it was the Drake-Serena situation. I didn't know what was going on with that, and I ain't know if he was throwing shots at me. Serena my ex, and we're going our separate ways, so unfortunately the war might have been over a girl, but at the time I never said that. It wasn't totally that. It was more of, do you respect me? Because I actually like you as an artist. Then Drake's lyrics about Serena seemed to go to a dark place in 2022, 5 years after Serena Williams married Reddit co-founder Alexis Ohanian, with whom she has 2 daughters. On Drake's song Middle of the Ocean, he flat out says, "Sidebar Serena, your husband a groupie." Serena Williams seemed to take the high road and didn't publicly diss Drake, but she clearly took the side of her fellow Compton native Kendrick Lamar when she hosted the ESPY Awards. If I've learned anything this year, it's that none of us, not a single one of us, not even me, should ever pick a fight with Kendrick Lamar. Then after that, she started dancing to Kendrick's Not Like Us, and later added, "He will make your hometown not like you. The next time Drake sits courtside at a Raptors game, they're going to Forrest Gump him. Seats taken." Serena's love for Kendrick continued when she was one of the special guests that shared the stage with him during the 2025 Super Bowl halftime show. Another streamer YouTuber that made it to Drake's Op List was Sean C, who spoke out against Drake and how he felt that the rapper talks about people and things that his fans could care less about. That opinion definitely got on Drake's radar because Drake literally reposted a clip of Sean C's reaction to For All the Dogs. Sean C's opinion might not have been as negative as Joe Budden's was, but it was still surprising to see Drake acknowledge Sean C for saying how he doesn't find Drake's content to be interesting. Also, Sean C basically said that he believes Drake is too deep in his own ego to admit that what he talks about in his songs may only be relevant to himself and not the majority of his listeners. Before the Top Dog Entertainment singer SZA was seen on stage during Kendrick Lamar's widely watched 2025 Super Bowl halftime show and was added to Kendrick Lamar's 2025 tour, she appeared to be unbiased in the Drake and Kendrick Lamar war. Her history with Drake includes public compliments, a young romance in the past, and musical collaborations. Drake and SZA's relationship began when they dated for an unknown period of time, either in 2008 or 2009, which seemed to have been kept quiet until Drake decided to mention it over a decade later on the 2020 song Mr. Right Now with Metro and 21, with Drake singing, "Yeah, she said she wanna F to some SZA, wait, cause I used to date SZA back in 08. SZA confirmed that past relationship with Drake on X when she wrote, "So it was actually 2009, lol. In this case, a year of poetic rap license mattered. LOL. I think he just innocently rhymed '08 with wait. Anybody who really knows me and was around during this time can confirm. It's all love, all peace. In December of 2022, SZA compared Drake to Regina George from the movie Mean Girls after appearing as the musical guest on an episode of Saturday Night Live that also featured a sketch that made fun of Drake as a womanizer. In a strange way, I was like, did they know? But they didn't ask me to be in it. Nobody said anything. I feel like Drake has a Regina George quality to him where it's just kind of like, have you or anyone you know been personally victimized? He's like a cool kid, you know? When you're the popular kid in school, it's entertaining. It's entertaining, but you sometimes are taking losses in the midst of that entertainment. The honesty, I respect that, but I definitely laughed real hard. I cackled. We're cool, and we've always been cool. It's never been weird. SZA also made it known that Drake gave her a heads up that he was mentioning their past relationship in the Mr. Right Now song. It didn't come completely out of the blue when he let me know. I didn't know it was a song with 21 or anything like that, but anytime he's ever mentioned me, it's always been positive. He's never said anything negative about me. I'm grateful for that. I think highly of him. He's King Drake. Drake and SZA joined forces for their first ever collaborations on 2023 on 2 tunes off of his For All the Dogs album, Slime You Out and Rich Baby Daddy. In October of 2023, SZA downplayed her and Drake's much earlier romance in an interview with Rolling Stone. We were really young. It wasn't hot and heavy or anything. It was like youth vibes. It was so childish. Also, in an October 2023 interview with the Wall Street Journal, SZA wondered whether Drake was attempting to sabotage her when he decided to use the first draft she sent him of her feature for Slime You Out. I just handed in the first draft to Drake, and he's putting it on his album. I'm scared because I handed in second vocals and he didn't use that. And now I'm like, are you trying to sabotage me? I know that's not true. I literally know that's not true, but that's how bad I feel about my first draft. When things come from an effortless space, I almost can't enjoy it. Then, in April of 2024, it seemed that SZA's neutral position in the Drake and Kendrick Lamar feud was starting to get tested when she got mentioned in Drake's Kendrick diss song, Push-Ups. Pipsqueak, pipe down, you ain't in no big 3, SZA got you wiped down, Travis got you wiped down, Savage got you wiped down, like your label boy, you in a scope right now. Within less than a day, SZA responded on her Instagram story, posting a clip of NeNe Leakes at one of the Real Housewives of Atlanta reunions, asking the question that SZA herself was probably feeling after she had her name mentioned in Push-Ups. Now, why am I in this? You see how I got thrown into it? I ain't even did nothing. Then after many months after the Kendrick-Drake feud reached its highest highs with Kendrick Lamar releasing Not Like Us, SZA was featured on 2 songs off Kendrick's new album GNX, Glory and Luther, proving that she was still willing to stand next to the home team. It should come as no surprise to see Top Dog Entertainment, also known as TDE, on 50 Cent's viral list of Drake ops. TDE is the label that Kendrick Lamar was signed to between 2005 and 2022 and released 12 projects with before starting his own company called PG Lang. Then there was an incident with TDE artist Schoolboy Q when he traveled to Drake's city of Toronto to perform at the music venue History that Drake happened to be an owner of and wasn't allowed to take the stage. And during a July 17th, 2024 Twitter rant, Schoolboy Q said that Canadian police didn't want any artists associated with TDE to perform. Schoolboy Q, who stood by Kendrick throughout his battle with Drake, suggested that if this behavior from OVO continued, there could be consequences. Schoolboy Q also pointed out that not only TDE's Anthony Top Dog Tiffith had been recently hanging out with Drake's Cash Money Young Money bosses Birdman and Lil Wayne, but that OVO artist Party Next Door performed at the Palladium in LA, TDE's home turf, and didn't have any issues. There's also the fact that not only did Drake claim to have dated TDE artist SZA in the past, but it was announced that she would join the 2025 tour with Kendrick with 2 stadium shows in Drake's city of Toronto. Terrence Henderson, more frequently known as Punch, is not just a rapper, songwriter, producer, record executive, and manager, but he's also the president of Top Dog Entertainment. Even though Kendrick Lamar was no longer signed to Top Dog Entertainment, he still appeared to be on good terms with the team, including Punch, who had praised Kendrick during the Drake battle. In fact, when a fan asked Punch on social media why Kendrick Lamar didn't add his massive hit Not Like Us on his album GNX, Punch spoke on Kendrick's behalf by saying, "Integrity. That record was for the battle. The album was a separate thing. Could have put it on there to boost overall sales, but choose to leave it for what it is. Integrity." On June 4th, 2024, the hardworking hip-hop producer The Alchemist was answering questions from fans on X and was asked if he was annoyed that Kendrick Lamar used the producer's beat for the Meet the Grams Drake diss after Questlove from The Roots made it known that The Alchemist wasn't in on this beat being used that way beforehand. Seemingly unbothered, The Alchemist's lighthearted response was, "Nah, but I was extremely bothered and downright livid when I realized that all these years I did not know that Cap'n Crunch's full name is Horatio Magellan Crunch." The Alchemist also shared a video on Instagram that same day of himself working on the beat for Meet the Grams. Neither Drake nor Kendrick Lamar appeared at the 2024 BET Awards, but it seemed like attendees couldn't stop talking about Kendrick winning the feud, which probably got on Drake's nerves once word got back to him. Outside the building on the red carpet, reporters constantly asked celebrities their take on the battle, with fellow California rapper Too Short picking Kendrick Lamar as the winner while saying that he had been asked this question 3 times at that point. Even Jermaine Dupri's daughter, Jalen, said Kendrick won. Inside the award ceremony, actress Taraji P. Henson was dressed up as Kendrick Lamar. Vice President Kamala Harris used the title of Kendrick's biggest Drake diss in a pre-recorded moment with Taraji P. Henson. The majority of us believe in freedom and equality, but these extremists, as they say, they're not like us. It probably didn't help Drake's ego at all when Kendrick Lamar won the BET Award for Best Male Hip-Hop Artist for a record 7th time. To make matters worse for Drake, he had 7 award nominations that night and didn't win anything at all. Justin Hunt, the experienced hip-hop journalist, former editor-in-chief of HipHopDX.com, and current creator and host of the Company Man podcast on YouTube, found his name on the Drake op list and shared his reaction during an episode of his show.
I do think this is really funny, and I'm not even sure how many of these people would even classify themselves necessarily as a Drake op. I know I wouldn't consider myself an op to Drake. I'm just very opinionated on things that happened in this battle and on the things that he exhibits in his music that are more narrow than artists that I appreciate more. You know, it doesn't go much farther than that with me. I think that, you know, the things that continue to come out, you know, starting to shape a lot of people's perspectives, and it makes it, you know, a lot easier for people to, you know, go even farther to discredit the things that he's done. I wouldn't call myself an op, but I imagine if I'm someone who's just watching my channel and someone who's just watching my content, you know, see how I cover so many things, and it seems like when I only talk about Drake when there's something, you know, something bad to say about him. You know, I guess I could see where that might come from. You know, they would like to look at other pieces of coverage and not necessarily, you know, why I love tailor-made freestyle. I have a whole video about how I love tailor-made freestyle.
Over the years, Drake has publicly criticized the Grammy Awards for what he perceives as the institution having a disconnect with the current musical landscape, particularly their nomination process, because he's felt that his music has not been fairly represented. Drake has also skipped out on attending the ceremony and has purposely withdrawn nominations in protest. Drake has also complained over categories where his music is placed, like when Hotline Bling was nominated in rap categories despite its R&B-ish elements. Up until this point, Drake has only won 5 Grammy Awards from his 51 nominations, while Kendrick Lamar has won 22 Grammy Awards from his 57 nominations, with 5 of Kendrick's wins coming in the same night thanks to his 2024 hit Not Like Us. This means that Kendrick Lamar matched Drake's total career of Grammy wins for one song dissing him. In the year of 2024, when the Kendrick Lamar song Not Like Us became the unavoidable thorn in Drake's side, it probably didn't help that MTV Video Music Awards nominated it in the Song of the Year category just over 3 months after it was released. But this isn't the first embarrassing moment for Drake at that award show. About 8 years earlier, Rihanna was receiving the 2016 Video Vanguard Award at MTV's annual award show, and she received a special tribute from Drake.
But most of all, we love the woman who hasn't changed since day one. She's someone I've been in love with since I was 22 years old. She's one of my best friends in the world. All my adult life, I've looked up to her even though she's younger than me. She's a living, breathing legend in our industry. Ladies and gentlemen, the recipient of the Michael Jackson Vanguard Award for 2016, Rihanna.
Drake then appeared to go in straight for Rihanna's lips on that stage, but Rihanna curved his attempt by tilting her head, and his kiss ended up on the left side of her face instead. To prevent things from getting any more awkward, Rihanna walked in front of the microphone and started giving a speech of her own. The appearance of the NBA Basketball League being viewed as an enemy of Drake is very simple to sum up. Many players in the league showed support for Kendrick Lamar by attending his Big the Pop Out concert, which was like one giant middle finger to Drake. The players who showed up included LeBron James, DeMar DeRozan, Russell Westbrook, James Harden, and Kobe White. Then there was another NBA-related incident during a Toronto Raptors game when Drake, who has served as the team's global ambassador for over a decade, learned that he had received a 1-year ban from commentating at their games. This reportedly stemmed from Drake's controversial remarks about former Raptors star DeMar DeRozan and threatening to pull down his jersey if it was ever hung up in the stadium. The NFL Football League became an easy name to add to the Drake op list when it announced that Kendrick was going to be the halftime performer for the Super Bowl in New Orleans on February 9th, 2025, making it seem like they were taking Kendrick Lamar's side in the beef. Ironically, Drake's OVO apparel brand announced its latest merchandise collaboration with the NFL was going to be an OVO football team jacket with the release dates of December 13, 2024, less than 2 months before the Kendrick Lamar Super Bowl performance. This gave the NFL the opportunity to make a fortune off of both sides of the rap beef that was still dominating social media conversations at the time. Ever since The Weeknd turned down Drake's offer to sign to Drake's OVO Sound record label in 2012, after Drake had been collaborating with and co-signing The Weeknd early on in the singer's mixtape days, there has been off and on tension between the two Toronto Titans. The conflict heated right back up on April 12, 2024, when Metro Boomin and Future released their 25-track album We Still Don't Trust You, and The Weeknd appeared on 2 songs, the title track and All to Myself. With Metro Boomin and Future already appearing to be throwing shots at Drake with their guests Kendrick and A$AP Rocky, The Weeknd seemed to be following suit on the song All to Myself, with lines that seemed like he was happy that he never signed up to be one of Drake's OVO artists. Oh, look at how we moving, baby. They could never diss my brothers, baby. When they got leaks in their operation, I thank God that I never signed my life away. And we never do the big talk. They shooters making TikToks, got us laughing in the Lambo. I promise that I got your back. Drake seemed to have gotten the subliminal message from The Weeknd and responded with the April 2024 release of Push Ups, where he fires back at his detractors in music, including The Weeknd, with bars like, claim the 6 and boys ain't even come from it. And when you boys got rich, you had to run from it. Cash blowing Abel bread out here tricking. Ish we do for chicks, he doing for guys. Thomas Johnson, also known as Tommy the Clown, dancer known for creating the clowning dance in 1992 and working to keep kids out of gangs, appeared in Kendrick Lamar's music video for Not Like Us, which surely didn't go over well with Drake. After the release of Kendrick's music video, Drake supporter DJ Academics called Tommy the Clown an alleged PDF on X. These allegations first emerged before the video was released, following Kendrick Lamar's 2024 pop-out show at Los Angeles' Kia Forum, where Tommy the Clown was a guest performer. There was an apparent response from Tommy the Clown that has circulated where he supposedly denies being with a 15-year-old. Praise the Lord, everyone. You may have seen the post of a lady implying she spent the day with me in an inappropriate way. It's not true. While she was sitting in my car, I went and paid rent for her because she was in need. I was just helping, no more. Yes, I could have and should have done it differently. Nevertheless, I did not. Therein no more coming. I am sorry for my ignorance. When Tyler the Creator's name appeared on Drake's op list, it may have had to do with his praise of fellow LA rapper Kendrick Lamar. Tyler's collabs with some of Drake's other ops like Schoolboy Q, A$AP Rocky, and The Weeknd, and an awkward experience that Drake had back in 2019 when he made a surprise appearance at Tyler the Creator's annual Camp Flog Gnaw Festival at Dodger Stadium in Los Angeles. The crowd was expecting a performance from Tyler's Odd Future alumni, singer Frank Ocean, and when Drake appeared to fill in for Frank Ocean, who couldn't make it, Drake got booed off the stage in the middle of his song Wu-Tang Forever. Tyler took it to Twitter to share his thoughts on the matter. I thought bringing one of the biggest artists on the effing planet to a music festival was fire, but flip side, a little tone deaf knowing the specific crowd it drew. Some created a narrative in their head and acted out like a-holes when it didn't come true, and I don't F with that. That ish was like mob mentality and cancel culture in real life, and I think that ish is effing trash. But hey man, ish happens. All jokes aside, is low-key funny. Aside from that, hope everyone had a good time. Again, no arrest, no BS, man. A lot of people enjoyed it. Thanks again. Victor Baez, known as Sound, journalist and podcaster of the Rhode Island-based podcast Club Ambition and El Poke, has been openly critical about Drake during the course of the Drake and Kendrick Lamar conflict. One of Victor Baez's most viewed critiques of Drake on the Club Ambition show was when he made the argument that Drake was a sore loser in his battle with Kendrick Lamar by saying,
Drake wants to act so unbothered, right? But then he is bothered. And it's okay to be bothered. Just admit to it. Why do we know that he's bothered? Lil Yachty did an interview on his own podcast talking about Drake. It was deleted. No one knows why. I think it's because Drake reached out and told him to delete that, right? That's my opinion. Especially because they're best friends. A best friend would do that for him. Hey, can you just delete that? Yeah, I got you, bro. Like, whatever you need, bro. It's good. I'm Lil Yachty. I'll make money off all this stuff. I can delete a podcast episode. Then, what else happened? Elliot Wilson said that Drake unfollowed him and that he got reached out by Toronto OGs and told him to not come to Toronto. He's not welcome in Toronto, right? That it's dangerous for him to go to Toronto right now. Then there was rumors of a DJ playing the Not Like Us in Toronto.
I've seen that on Twitter.
And that he got kicked out of the party.
This clearly earned him a spot. Aside from Kendrick Lamar's fiancée Whitney Alford appearing on the cover of Kendrick's album cover in 2022 for Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, along with their 2 children, not much has been known about or said about her due to Kendrick preferring to keep his private life private. But her image was put in jeopardy when, much like when Drake threw the name of Pusha T's wife into the mix during their battle, Drake decided to call out Kendrick Lamar's fiancée Whitney in his lyrics, implying that she may have been abused by Kendrick and could have had a baby with Kendrick's business partner Dave Free. Along with being a mother and a businesswoman, she's been Kendrick's day one, having met when they were students at Centennial High School in Compton and remaining together ever since they graduated in 2005 and having gotten engaged around 2015. During the Kendrick Lamar and Drake beef, when Drake alleged Whitney Alford was cheating on him on the track Push-Ups, Lamar hit back with Euphoria, where he basically threatened Drake with the lyrics, "Talk about me and my family, Crody, someone gon' bleed in your family, Crody." But Whitney helped kill any suspicion about the lack of strength in their bond by appearing in Kendrick's Not Like Us music video Crip Walkin'. But that's not all. She was also spotted in attendance with their children for Kendrick Lamar's The Pop Out concert in LA, and she received a shout out from him when he won big at the Grammys for Not Like Us. Finally, the Compton rapper YG also wound up on 50 Cent's Drake op list. This probably has something to do with Drake's beef with YG's fellow hometown rapper Kendrick Lamar. While the beef was heating up, YG was minding his own business, unlike many other West Coast rappers that spoke up at the time. But things soon changed when Drake dropped his Kendrick diss track called Family Matters and dragged YG's name into the song by trying to use his name to discredit Kendrick by saying that YG was more gangsta than Kendrick. YG didn't seem to take too kindly to this supposed shout out by Drake, and shortly after, YG released a song called Weird. In the song, YG raps, "When it's smoke, don't ever mention my name. You gon' have me jeopardizing my fame, jeopardizing the gang, jeopardizing where you hang." Now, YG doesn't mention Drake directly, but it didn't take long for listeners to make the connection. Sure, YG and Drake have worked together in the past on YG's 2014 hit song Who Do You Love and for Why You Always Hatin' in 2016, as well as YG being an opening act for the Drake vs. Lil Wayne tour in 2016. But YG's friendship with Kendrick Lamar is much stronger. YG praised Kendrick, saying, "It's A1 to be able to get somebody like that on my record. I knew Kendrick before I blew up. He knew me before he blew up. And he be rocking with what I was doing, and I've been rocking with what they was doing. So it's all love and respect." Also, DJ Mustard, who produced Kendrick Lamar's Drake diss track Not Like Us, has been YG's friend and collaborator for many years.